I mean, to be fair, we could run this whole episode today in Arabic.
I know. I was telling him that we could do an Arabic episode.
We could 100%.
Baghdadi. Hachi Baghdadi.
100%. Right, but we're not going to do that.
I know.
Unfortunately. Not today. You can come back for part 2. Round 2 in
I
Arabic.
would be enjoying that.
Yes,
because I don't see that often, like, episodes in Arabic, especially Baghdadi. Most of them you would see it like, I don't like the normal Arabic. I love اللهجة البغدادية تخبل.
What's normal Arabic?
Like, اللهجات الباقية.
يعني like
كيفك؟ شلون؟ يعني هاي الأشياء.
what?
لأن أنا عشت بالأردن فلهجتي
Okay.
تغيرت فبعدين رجعت على البغدادي أصلي يخبل.
Okay.
أي.
Can I get you to do something, please? Can you turn down that projector? It's really loud. I say loud. It's like weed.
What about now?
Yeah, that's decent. I'll take that.
What about your lighting?
No, check the thing. How does she look? Looks good? Looks good.
Are we started?
Yeah, we started.
Very nice.
This is the most frequently asked question. What did you think? We're gonna have like a whole intro.
No, I thought like you're gonna tell me before, like we're starting now, so I'm like, okay.
No, it's very informal. That's why.
Okay.
Like it's very.
Okay, I'm surprised actually a little bit that
What?
we
that
started already without me knowing that we're starting.
It's good though, yeah. See,
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, so you don't have to be kind of nervous, but you're already in the mood of like conversation and like feeling comfortable to talk.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
All right.
good.
Should we do a formal start then?
Okay, let's go for it.
I've never done a formal start.
I know.
Okay, say you're the host of this podcast. How would you start it?
Dear audience, dear soul of audience, today we're gonna have a very interesting topic where we're gonna talk about resilience and not giving up. Welcome.
Okay, that's decent.
I know.
Is that what you had in mind?
Well, no. But
So you
this
just
is how
swing
I'm
it?
gonna start as a
Okay.
yeah.
Resilience and not giving up.
Yeah.
Okay. What's resilience and not giving up to you?
Well, it's when you face the obstacles and you fall down, but you get up again.
Okay.
And it's the art of learning from your mistakes. And I would say it's realizing those mistakes, learning from it, and moving on. And the resilience is like no matter how many times you're gonna fall down, but you're gonna keep going because you have a goal, you have a vision. And those obstacles is what's shaping you to reach that goal.
That's pretty solid. That's very good. That's one way to put it. I would put it differently.
How would you put it?
I don't know. I would be a little bit less philosophical about it. You know, something
Is that philosophic?
It is very philosophical.
Okay.
You study psychology though, right?
Well, it's my first year and I never like kind of read a decent psychological books. So
Never read a decent psychological book.
no, not yet. So you really can't say that I'm very fluent in psychological background.
Okay.
So I think it's life experiences that taught me that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I do with most of my friends. Like, they would listen to me purely for the fact that I study psychology, but really I don't study a damn thing, right? Most of my things are just like, you know, done on the spot. But when you talk to someone and you're like, yeah, I study psychology, they're more likely to listen as you start saying whatever. They're like, damn, this guy knows a lot.
Yeah, that is the thing that when you introduce yourself and what you're doing, they're gonna think about you. Oh, you know, you're studying psychology. You're pretty decent in fancy, exactly. And you're gonna be very like philosophic about the information you're gonna speak about. But really, it's about learning, and it's about like it's never enough. You know.
Well, essentially, you're a human scientist.
Am I?
Not you, like as a psychologist. Are you? Are you a human scientist? Do you like people?
Exactly, yeah, I love people.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why do you like people?
Well, since I was young, this was one thing that I discovered about myself, that I enjoy talking to people and helping people.
Okay.
And this is one of the things that not makes me alive, but give me purpose, I would say. So I see that when you're helping someone, you're not actually like making them smile or laughing, but it's for you first. When you're seeing somebody else feeling comfortable, somebody else is smiling, you'll feel the happiness. So it's kind of like the other way around it. I enjoy giving more than taking.
Do you think that's kind of selfish?
How would that be selfish?
That you're kind of caring about yourself more, or at least number one?
How am I caring about myself by caring about others?
Well, this is like a paradox, isn't it? Like, think about it.
Expand.
Think about it like this, okay? You do what you do. You care about people because you want to cater for your needs and purpose.
Well, this is one way to look about it. And the way I see it is for every single thing in life, there's two sides for it. So there is the positive and the negative for it.
Okay.
So you could say that. And
Yeah.
from my point of view, it's different. So
Yeah.
it does have two sides. So
Yeah.
yeah,
My point of view is more grim. It's a little bit more sad.
yeah, true.
It's the negative side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an optimist. Are you an optimist?
Well, you could tell.
Yeah.
But it's not like me being, the thing is people would realize me as a positive person and optimistic, but that doesn't mean I'm 24 hours smiling or laughing or like, it's not about that. It's about like, I realize what I have about the good side and things rather than me seeing the negative side and being complaining about them.
Yeah.
So the art of being grateful, that's what makes me like kind of optimistic, I would say.
How grateful can you be?
How grateful can I be? Well, what do you mean by that? Like, do you want me to give you a percentage or?
Okay. What's the worst scenario you can imagine yourself be? And while situations are bad and the chips are down, you're still able to be grateful. Can you do that?
Okay. I already have one scenario in my head, but
Okay.
it's not the worst. I'm not sure about what would be the worst, but psychology and studying Bachelor of Psychology being my passion since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
I'm doing it now. So the worst scenario would be me failing, not passing, or dropping from the course. So that would be the worst thing that I could ever think, and not finishing this and not becoming the person that I wanted to become.
Yeah.
So this is a very worst like scenario, yeah? But I could also see myself during that timing that, well, okay, I'm not studying psychology. I'm not having this degree. But at the same time, I did develop good experience in life and in my like work career, because I'm currently working as a youth advisor, a youth trainee. So like I will be seeing the good side that I have come far, and also like seeing myself in different area. Like it's not the end of the world, but at the same time would be very heartbreaking for me because it's been my passion. So yeah, I see two sides in every single thing, but at the same time it's so tiring to be keeping doing that.
You think so?
Well, yes, for me, well, doing that. Sometimes,
Like actively doing it?
yeah, actively doing it. I would sometimes like see the two sides. I would see the other side that I'm grateful for, but I'm still at the same time. That doesn't mean I'm not sad and not breaking through it, you know? Yeah.
Well, I think you have to go through both.
Exactly, yeah. I agree with that. Like, being an optimistic person doesn't mean you don't have to go through, like, breaking down or sadness.
It's just like being a sad, depressed person doesn't mean you can't laugh or smile.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? And sometimes people mistake it. They think that if you're depressed, you have to be sad and whiny all the time. I saw a video the other day. It's a YouTube video from, I think, is it suicide prevention, something like that. See if you can find it. It's they put a compilation of men and women, just casual videos. They had a video of a guy with his baby playing with a toddler. They had a girl with her family. They had a guy just dancing for TikTok. Like it's all sorts of shit. They're doing all like the usual stuff. And then they put a card after it and they said that this is these people's last videos before they committed suicide. And so the whole message of the video is that you never know who it could be. It could be any of us in this room, but you just don't show it,
Yeah.
right? And it's so easy. It's so easy to like do something as simple as overdose on pills, right? Like you have access to whatever, like grab a knife, stab yourself, right? I'm not saying don't do it. Don't do it. If you're listening, don't do it, right? I'm just saying, like as an example.
You're giving people ideas.
As an example.
I'm gonna try.
No. Like, you know, like it's accessible. Like anyone can do anything, but
Yeah.
it's more. There's more power in resisting it. It's a hefty price to pay. Because think about all the people around you. Think about it's not just affecting. It's not just gonna affect you. It's like an earthquake, right? It's gonna have like big vibrations all over the place, and if people around you in your life that care about you lose you, it's just game over for them and their lives and their dreams, basically, right?
Yeah.
You're
I think like people who reach that point is not because it's a specific thing that they happen in their life, but it's how much they have gone through, like the obstacles, the traumas that they have traumatized by. So all of this gather inside of them without talking about it, which leads them to not see hope in life. So I think one thing that we could do as a human beings is to care. It's not just the question, how are you today? But actually going deeper with your friend, asking deeply about them. Not just, hey, how has your day been going? Or like, just how are you? But understanding and listening. The art of listening. I realized that listening is not actually just sitting down and listening to people, but is the art of understanding people. Like when you're listening, are you actually listening or like just not? Because like what I'm trying to say, the art of listening is to understand what they're telling you and what they're saying for you, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's an often message that is missed, which is very sad.
Yes. Some people encrypt what they say. Like they would want to say something, but they don't say it straightforward necessarily. And then you'd have to like decrypt what they're saying to fully understand it. Like someone could be in pain, but they're not really saying it.
Yeah.
Right.
And some people, I would say it's hard for them to ask for help. Like asking for help takes courage and takes like lots of resilience to do that and reveal about what they have gone through. So I feel privileged when somebody would be sharing about themselves deeply with me, because that is not easy to do with anybody, and revealing about your weaknesses.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all. But often we think as a society that revealing your weaknesses will make you weak. But the way I see it is revealing your weaknesses is what's make you strong, because like each one of us has weaknesses and have like lots of things that we're struggling with, but we don't reveal them. And that is because we want to seem strong. And why we want to seem strong is because like we want to be feeling valued and loved by people. And that is what it's like a cycle. But what I have found is when I'm sharing about my weaknesses, this is where I'm actually feeling vulnerable and I have nothing to hide. So this is how I'm gonna like feel kind of strong. At the same time, people will start understanding you and understand what you're going through. So it's easier for them to know how to deal with you and to treat you. So I think we need to start practicing that more often.
How often do you speak to yourself? How often are you vulnerable with yourself?
With myself, with myself is a little bit hard because like I'm not overthinker, but I think a lot. So I would be doing that by writing. What's that?
How does that work?
How does that work?
You're not
So like,
you think a lot.
Okay. The way I'm gonna define overthinker is like, you're kind of like having one specific thing, and you're not moving on it, and also like thinking on it from a negative side.
Okay.
But thinking a lot, what I mean with that, we as a human being, we always having a conversation with ourselves and always having this process of thinking. So this process I have it a lot when I'm taking my decision, my daily basis life. So the way I find it easier for me is by writing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not doing that very often. I used to do it like kind of daily, but not anymore.
You write your feelings out.
I used to do, but not that often now.
Why not?
I just started finding it hard to start interpreting all of my feelings. And the reason why I would say is kind of hard to process and interpret into words what I'm exactly feeling. Because like it's hard to find the words to how am I feeling. So it would take, so I started doing it like kind of a reflection that is like gonna be once a month or once every fortnight, where I sit down and reflect on the period that has gone. So that is easier for me to process myself rather than doing it I used to do like either daily, because like I did not have that much responsibility before as I am having now. So it's kind of hard to name those feelings, those things that I'm thinking about. And I'm still improving myself with learning English. So I started writing things down in English so I could improve it.
Okay.
But I'm getting stuck to choose the phrases
Oh.
because there are so many descriptive words that could mean something. While I'm not feeling like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm much more careful with choosing my words.
But I like what you said about some words not being fair and just to what you feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a struggle because like I think music captures that feeling sometimes. Sometimes you'd be listening to something and not necessarily a song, a vocal song. Like it could be just rhythm. It could be just a tone. It could be just a melody. You listen to it and you're like, that's exactly what I'm feeling like, right? And it could be like joy. It could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be sad. It could be like one electric guitar bass rhythm and you're just going with the whole thing. That's, I think, the beauty of music. Have you tried music before?
Like playing or listening? Well, I used to play guitar. I'm a beginner now.
Okay.
I played in Jordan, and I used to play for my local church at the youth.
Okay.
And then when I came to Australia, it actually was a struggle because like I was really focusing on my English and building my English. So the first 2 years I was just way over it till I got it right. Then last holiday I bought a guitar. So now I'm not waiting for the right time,
Okay.
but I'm being logical with my timetable. So I work part-time, study full-time, and I have other commitments. So I'm like, I want to develop playing guitar as a habit. So the only timing I'm going to have is the holiday, like the uni holiday. So soon I will be back. But I would say I'm a beginner in playing guitar.
Dude, how full is your day?
How full? Okay. Well, it depends. So I do uni Monday to Wednesday.
Okay.
And Thursday and Fridays I do work. Saturday is usually out with the friends or family. And Sundays for church.
Okay.
And the whole Sunday is kind of booked. Like the beginning I have the morning service. And afterward I would be either catching up with a friend from church. And then I have a Bible study, a small group. And do you want me to go in details or that is enough?
I mean, usually when girls say that, that's probably enough. Yeah, but it sounds very full. Like, is that the structure for each and every single week?
During uni and work, yes. So, but while I don't have uni, I would have more time to do my part-time job and the casual work.
Okay.
So, on the days that I don't have uni, it's often either for me to rest at home with family or going out with the friends because like I have like because I'm new to Australia, so I'm starting new friendships and new relationships. So it's kind of hard to keep it up while having uni and work. So I tend to do it more often during uni breaks.
You said you knew, so you've been here for 3 years, yeah?
2 years in Melbourne.
2 years in Melbourne,
Yeah.
1 year in Queensland?
Yes.
Okay. Top 3 Melbourne places. Go.
That's hard.
It's not
Okay.
that hard.
Okay.
Like, surely the MCG.
Well, I love it. True.
You've been to the MCG?
I know. Yeah, it's been so amazing. I went twice.
Dude, you're better than me. I've been here for 7 years. I only went like 2 weeks ago.
It's so good. I loved it. It's
Already
so creative.
immersed.
And then Stream of Remembers, I went
Okay.
twice as well. I love like watching the sunset from there up like
That's
there.
really cool.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
And
But you went up. You can go
yeah,
up.
you
What,
can go up in like casual days, not like the days that is really busy with people. Like on the New Year, you cannot access it. But like
Yeah.
I went on the normal days up and watched the sunset. It was so amazing.
How do I only know this now? She's been here for like what 2 years? I've been here for 6 years. She already knows more things than I do. How?
Because you lock yourself in the room and you do it only work.
Yeah, I do work a lot.
Okay, I see. But you've been here for 7 years, so even if you do too much of work, that doesn't mean you don't go out, like to discover those places.
I feel very cold out right now. But no, and like I've been to it. Like I go out a lot,
Yeah.
But I never knew that you can go up. It's probably because I've been there on public holidays and well,
I see. That's fine, maybe.
maybe.
And the other thing, as a youth advisor, we do lots of like a day out for the
Okay.
youth. So that is how I got to know those places.
Oh yeah.
And by creating those friendship, I used to have one of my friends is actually raised in Melbourne, so he knows all of Melbourne. So basically, that's how I go out, because like I don't do it by myself. So it's usually either like a friend that would be advising me to go to that place, or during work. Like it's fun.
I call on one thing. Melbourne. What do you say it like that? Is it-
Melbourne.
How are we supposed to say it?
Melbourne.
No,
Melbourne.
Marlborough.
Melbourne.
Yes, like that.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
This is an American way.
It's
It's not
Mel-
even Melbourne.
Melbourne. Is it?
Yeah, Melbourne.
How would the tradies say it?
Melbourne.
Melbourne, mate. Sorry, mate.
Try.
I'm sorry. I love all my tradies. But yeah, you got one more.
I thought you forgot about it.
No. I'm a good host. Don't worry.
Okay, Living Legend. A
Living
place.
legends.
Okay, you know where so many people go and watch the planes? Just next to it, there is like a farm where ex-horses go there and rest. So it's so amazing place. There is an old cafe there, and it's full of nature. There's so many horses there where you can feed them. So I enjoyed that.
Is that where they had a winery? There's like a little fancy restaurant. Yeah.
Is it? It's not fancy. It's very old restaurant.
You know
So.
where's
Is
the airport lookout?
The airport lookout.
Yeah, it's next to it. Living
It's like
Legend.
airports around.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I love this place.
Is that to the Marine?
No, it's Greenvale.
Greenvale.
Greenville lookout.
I might have been there.
You might.
Do they have like a spot where they have like seats for people and you could just look at the horizon?
No, you went somewhere else.
I went somewhere else.
Melbourne Airport lookout.
Melbourne Airport lookout.
All right, where's that solar panel?
Operations Road.
No,
No?
other side.
Other side, okay.
All right, where's the solar panels? The massive-
Solar. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about now.
Yeah. So
You should take me, dude. You know all these places.
I don't know. I've never been there.
It sounds very romantic. We'll organize something.
Me and you?
No. No. I'll pass. Thank you, though. Thanks for the offer, man. But yeah. So, which one do you find better? Queensland or Melbourne?
Melbourne.
Why?
Well, I love winter.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I love Melbourne more than Queensland is because of the weather first, and then actually in Queensland was like hot weather makes me depressed.
Does
So,
it? Hot
yeah,
weather?
Yeah.
What?
Really, I feel depressed whenever it's so hot.
That
And-
makes no sense. Isn't it
Well-
supposed to be the other way around?
Well, no, I enjoy winter. I enjoy cold weather. So like Melbourne has been the best for me for that reason first.
Okay.
And then Melbourne is full of beautiful places. Like, to be honest, I did not go that
Like
much
Frankston?
in Queensland.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
went to Frankston once. It's good.
It's a good
Yeah.
spot.
But I don't know why so many people say about it that it's a dangerous place.
It's
I'm
not
still.
dangerous.
Well, I'm not sure. This is what I have heard from
It's
people.
in competition with Broadmeadows, who outshines the other. Okay, I talk too much shit about Broadmeadows. I might get shanked if I go there one day. But no, I'm kidding. It's a cool
seems
spot.
that you like Broadmeadows so much.
It's decent. It's decent. It gets bad rep. Like, yeah, you get a couple of people stabbed here and there, but it's not that bad.
Well, yeah, I do shopping from Broadmeadows sometimes,
Well,
time
there
to
you
time,
go.
so
Yeah.
it's good.
It's
Yeah.
good, yeah. It's good to pick up a boost on the way when you're going shopping. Maybe. But what was I going to ask? Oh, yeah. You stayed for Queensland for 1 year, yeah?
1 year.
Where?
But during that year, it was 2020. So it was COVID. So I did not get to discover so many places. So I did go to Gold Coast. It was amazing. But it was so hot on that day. I didn't enjoy it.
Did you get sunburned?
No, I went during the night.
Oh, you're a night beach person?
Well, no, I went with family. So that's why. But I didn't try to go during the day because I knew that I'm going to get sunburned. So that's why I didn't go. And I went to the city, like South Bank. It was cool place, amazing. But Melbourne is much better, the city, like here in the
Melbourne,
south.
yet again.
It's much better, like
Yeah.
so many buildings, so many places.
Yeah.
But Queensland is less like decent with population, and like I didn't get to enjoy it because of the weather.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever I'm gonna say, just because of my experience with the weather.
Okay.
But it's still a beautiful place. I would advise you to go to there during winter.
Where in Queensland exactly?
So South Bank is good, Gold Coast is good, and there was a place that I went called Paradise.
Surfers Paradise.
It was so amazing.
My friend's been there.
Yeah.
Looks good.
It looks good, and like you just feel paradise there.
Oh, like full on? Is it expensive?
Well, no, like I'm talking about the forest.
About the forest?
Yeah.
There's a forest called Surfers Paradise?
Not a forest, but I'm not sure how to describe it. But like, it's a national park that I went to.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a forest. Sorry for the term. Excuse me. So
Okay.
it's a national park.
We'll edit
called...
it out. I'll AI generate it.
Okay. It's a paradise. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Called Paradise. It was good.
But see, the thing is, with Melbourne, yeah, the good thing about it is that there's all sorts of people in this place.
True. Much more opportunities as well.
It's much more, like I'd say Queensland is good for vacation.
True.
It's good for vacation.
Yeah.
If you go and live there, I don't know about that. I've never been there. But from what I see, most of my friends, they go for vacation.
Well, yeah. And also, like, at that time, in case I was new, so my English was not perfect. But I tried to apply for so many jobs, but getting rejected at that timing. So that was another frustrating thing, like, I faced there. But, like, I was putting the reason that I was new, my English was not perfect. But to be honest, to work in retail does not have you to have a very great, like, English, because you're going to do just daily communication. And at that timing, I was doing just a normal conversation with my teacher and like college students. So I just was struggling to find a job and also like to be connected with the community because like I always been doing volunteering work or like just anything that is connected to the community.
Okay.
So I found it harder to do in Queensland.
But don't you think that with retail, you'd have to be good with words?
Well, I'm not sure. Like, that was, I was putting the reason with myself that, well, I'm just new. My English is not that great. So that's why maybe when I'm filling in the question for the interview, they founding it's a broken English. So that's why he's not accepting me.
So you don't think it's the reason, like English?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Do you think so now?
Now?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think so because, like, if you work in retail, is like, it's an experience that you're going to develop how to speak to customers like daily. And you're going to have the same conversation with them. Like you don't like when I'm going shopping, I don't stand there and speak a fully heavy conversation with the person, So I'm not sure if people do it, but...
Oh, people do it.
Okay, I don't do it.
I've seen people do it.
So I'm like, that's why I'm saying it's not that hard to get to the retail job. But at the same time, it was challenging for me and hard for me.
Okay.
And even here, like when I first came, I did have developed good English, but I still did not get a chance.
Okay, but think about it. Have you ever been in a retail shop where workers don't speak fluent English. Can you think of a place you've been to and the workers don't really speak like fluent
in
English?
Hume, yes.
In Hume?
Oh, well,
Have you?
like
Oh, not
a little bit, like
Not
yes.
like the big brands.
Oh no, I'm not saying to big friends. Like
Oh,
when
what are
I
you
was
saying then?
applying, like for me, when I was applying in college.
Oh, like a small shop.
Yeah, small shops.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
That's what
makes
I
sense.
mean.
Oh, I was thinking something like, I don't know, Novo,
Oh no.
like Sephora.
That's a unique experience, I think, to be working
You think
there.
so?
I think so.
YD, maybe YD is all right. Like if you apply to YD as a starting point, is good. They will accept
Well,
you.
I'm not sure, but
You need
this
to be
was
good
my.
with fashion.
Huh?
You need to be good with fashion.
You need to be good with fashion for YD.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
No, no, no. Because I've seen the many fits that come out of YD. The brothers that go get dressed from YD. It's not looking good. If you're getting dressed from YD, it's not looking good. Change it up. That's my advice. But I know I see where you're coming from. I think your English is good now. So
It's now.
it's good now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I get it. I was bullied out of my accent when I went to high school as well. I always talk about it. I used to have a different accent. It didn't sound like this. And you could probably pick up on it if you focus enough. But yeah, thanks to, I don't want to call out names because just in case they're watching. But yeah, like I think bullying was a good thing that happened to me.
How come?
Made me who I am, in my opinion.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, like bullying is bad, yeah, but
Yeah, it is bad.
it's worse if you don't know how to deal with it.
Did you know at that timing how to deal with it?
Absolutely not. I cried myself to bed some days.
So when did you reach that level where you're now fine with it and you're talking about it? Because from my experience, I know, like talking about what you have been going through, like something like bullying, it's something hard to talk about it in public like that and without being attached to emotions. So what was your strategy and how did you come up with it? Like
What? Talk about it?
Yeah, how did you come to the strategy that you feeling good about it? And then how you feeling okay now to talk about it?
Well, think about it like this. It's more of like phases. You go through phases. And if you're going through a phase where you're getting bullied, that probably means that you're doing something abnormal. Because why would people bully you? Think about it. Why would you get bullied?
Okay. In my opinion, why would you get bullied is because that person is already either being bullied by somebody else or they seeing themselves like not good enough. So the way that they're gonna feel good is by bullying somebody else.
Okay.
So it's more about the person itself, like they not feeling good. Themselves is going through hardship.
Yeah.
And the way that they're gonna deal with it is by bullying. So
Yeah. Well, that's from the perpetrator's end. Like that's who does the bullying. But what about why would you get bullied? Like me as a victim. Why would anyone be a victim?
You're an easy victim.
Okay, Jesus. All
Well,
right.
this is what I'm gonna say. Like,
What do you mean? Why?
well, like they know that your English is broken. You're not gonna know. You're kind of new to the country.
Yeah,
you don't know the what you're gonna. The
How it
strategy
works.
is how you're gonna protect yourself, and also you don't know how to defend yourself. Like language is the way that you communicate with people. So if they see you that you're not communicating well and your English is broken,
Okay.
this is the way that they're gonna attack you.
Okay.
But at the same time, I see that even if you don't have good English and your English is broken, but yet you have self-confidence, you wouldn't get bullied. And I have seen it. Like, this is my experience. Like, in year 12 and 11, did not get bullied.
Is it self-confidence or is it kind of shelling yourself?
What do you mean shelling myself?
Like kind of putting a big armor vest, like a shield, you know?
How would you do that? Like, if you don't have good English? Like,
I know. That's it. You don't talk to many people.
Well,
You kind of stay to yourself. If they don't know much about me, they can't really say much about me.
but they seeing my broken English while the classes and like, the way I see it, like, what I mean by self-confidence is like, like the way that I was in high school, I was always answering the question and speaking and having conversation with people, despite I was making mistakes. and they would correct me, but I wouldn't see it as bullying, but it was a way that I'm improving my English. So I would say in those positions where I was confident that even if I'm gonna make the mistakes, I'm gonna keep continuing what I'm saying because I wanna give like I want them to understand the point I'm coming from.
Okay.
And also I want them to understand that I do have the understanding despite my limited English.
Okay.
Yeah, so they like my friends found it as something courageous to do instead of bullying me. While I'm like, well, I'm not sure about maybe me not being socializing that much. Could it be the reason that I didn't get bullied?
It could be.
Yeah,
It could be.
Yes.
Because like, if you wanna end an issue, avoiding it is one way. Like if you wanna get out of trouble, you avoid it.
Well, true.
It could work, but that's not what I did.
What did you do?
I kind of befriended everyone because here's the thing. I was a very, very, very strange 17-year-old. Because bear in mind, when I came from...
And were you older than the class? Like,
was I older?
Like in age? Because that is another...
It is another factor, but I wasn't that much older. Because my birthday is in December, and I had the closest kid in our year level. He was in May. And so it's like a 5 months difference. It's not that big of a deal. But I was... Almost. No, I wasn't even the eldest. I had my friend Andre, he was older. So he didn't get bullied. He was all right. Right? But I don't think it was the age thing. It was more of because people didn't know I was older than them when I joined. They didn't know that. It was more of what kind of kid I was. And I was a pretty weird kid, if I'm being honest. Because here's the thing.
Why do you say that?
Because I was locked in a room for 2 years when I was 16 and 15. But no, it's not that deep. No,
Like,
not like that. Not like that. Not like that. I was like, when I was in Jordan, you're an immigrant in Jordan, and you're living like a temporary life. I didn't have that much friends. I didn't have that many things to do. And so I resorted to like staying in my room, playing video games pretty much all day long, watching TV shows, talking to my friends that are back there for hours. And so that's not good socializing for a 15-year-old, right? And it does some damage to you. And so it makes you a little bit to yourself. And so when I went and I got exposed to this place, I was a little bit to myself, right? And I brought what I would say the way of socializing back there, here. And that just didn't cut it. That's just not how it works. And so I got bullied for it because I was different.
I see.
Right? Because I didn't get the whole same childhood thing where everyone had, or most people had. Some people had similar things and they got bullied as well. So it's not necessarily you're an immigrant, so we're going to bully you. Some people are just like that. Some kids get bullied in high school just because, not because of their, background or whatever. Right? And that's why I think it worked for me. They called me out and they were like, you're different. You're weird. That's not how we operate around here. Okay? This is the norm. You're all the way here, all right? This is what you should act like, and this is what you're doing. I said, okay, I felt like an outsider. I didn't change that much. I still did what I did. I still liked what I liked. I still listened to the music I listened to. I still did everything that I did. Even the jokes, nothing changed, right? What happened is, as I insisted on who I was and the kind of person I was, I started accepting what they were saying.
What do you mean what they were saying? If they were bullying you, in which way? They kind of like...
that I am different.
Like when you say bullying, do you mean like they kind of like swearing or saying negative words
100%.
to you? 100%.
Yeah.
And you accepted that?
Yes.
Well, that is not normal.
That's not normal, I know.
I'm like, wait, hold on.
Yeah,
like...
I accept it. I accept it, that I was treated differently because I was weird.
What did you accept basically? Did you expect like...
That I'm different. That's all I accepted.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't let people just cuss at me and I would be okay with it. No, I wasn't okay. Even with that, it got to a point where I would stand down and say, hey, listen, man, I'm not going to treat you the same way, but it would be cool if you stop. If you're not going to stop, then I'm going to treat you differently. All right? Cool. Nothing happened after that. But I think the breaking point for me was probably going back home on one school day, and I had like a little mini desk, like this tall, and I just went underneath and I started crying. And my dad came and was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I'm just not fitting in. I'm not fitting in."
And how old were you at that point?
I was 17, maybe.
That is not normal for an Iraqi family to see their kid like that.
No,
I know.
No. Yeah,
So,
it's not normal.
This is a very breaking point.
Yeah, that was it for me. I was like, just done with it. And my dad, Arabian dads, they're not big with emotion. So he didn't know what to do either, right? And he's like, "What do you need?" I said, "Just let me be. I'm going to cry it out." Okay, I cried it out. And then, I don't know what happened, but from the break of year 10 to year 11, I took some time for myself. I thought about what kind of person I was, what I do, what I like, what I don't like. And some things that I was okay with, I was okay with. Some things that I agreed that were a little bit strange and they're just not going to work if I want to develop as a person, I got rid of. And so when I came back in year 11, it was a developmental year. And so this is where I started to fit in more, year 11. And it was still a little bit, here and there with
Was
people.
it because like you got your English better or what?
My English was,
What do you mean like you started fitting better? Like what has changed?
I got out of my shell, basically. Like I didn't want to just be to myself. I wanted to figure out about people more often. I wanted to talk to people more often. I started having like disagreements with family and shit. And not just my family, my immediate family, like my cousins, right? Some people would call it whitewashed, right? That's basically it. Like I started seeing the community for what it is. Because when you come here, you have a certain mentality. I would say the Arabian mentality, and you think with that mentality. And once you're immersed in this community, you start rejecting what's in it based on what your family thinks is right.
Wait, say that again. You start rejecting.
You start rejecting how this community works based on what your family thinks you should accept and reject. And it was a big difference to me to say no. Like what works for you may not work for me. And I was okay with it. My parents weren't. Like I had like really big fallouts with my parents as an 18-year-old. I'd say I got kicked out of my house like 3-4 times, right?
Wait, why your family weren't okay with what? Like basically?
With how I was becoming, what kind of person I was becoming. Like I was okay with some things that an Arab wouldn't be okay with. Like,
Like?
My parents are very conservative. And so something like smoking shisha with your friends is just taboo. That's no good.
But I know there are some Arab people that they
do it, but my family is very conservative.
Okay, I see.
My family is very conservative. And just the type of friends that you hang out with, the leisure activities, going out, where do you go, how late do you come back, these kind of things, they're a big deal to them. And if you know anything about conservative families, it's a breaking point for them, and they like to control you. My parents, they're kind of the parents that like to control people. Their kids, because they do it out of fear.
Yeah.
They do it out of fear. They don't know what's going to happen.
And this is the mentality that they have been through, like, since ages, ago, and, like, where they have been raised through. Yeah. So it's kind of also hard for them, like, to adapt here and, like, digest how the community is working here. So I do understand at the same time the point that they're coming from. Yeah. But at the same time, for you also was, like, kind of hard to kind of be in the middle. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think they're in the middle. I think they're caught up in the middle. Because for us, it's easier to adapt.
Because you're younger?
Because you're younger. So think about it like this. Most parents that come to this place, they don't come for themselves. They come for their kids because they want a better future. So the main subject of their whole reason why they want to leave is to give a better future to their kids. And so when you come here and you're exposed to different things, and your kids go into ways where you thought they wouldn't go to because it's a different community, and also you as a parent trying to adapt as well with very little English, if you have any at all, You're caught in the middle. Like, do I cater for my son? Do I cater for me fitting in? Do I cater for finding a job? Do I cater for, trying to connect with the community on a different level? Me, my feelings as a parent, am I doing a good job? Am I doing a bad job? Right? And for me, like, I was already 16, 17. My brother was 25, 24. So my brother was a little bit more manageable. Right? And even like with little kids, like I honestly don't understand how kids work with parents that come like from immigrant backgrounds. Like if you get a 5-7-year-old with you to this place, how do you manage?
Yeah.
Do you?
And it's hard for them to change that mentality.
It's very hard.
For the parents to view that I was like, because like I was studying that a little bit in psychology, the culture, like culture and people. So I got to understand that, well, it's way harder for parents, like either raising a teenager or raising a kid, as you said, while they coming from this mentality, while like here is a whole different like approach and culture, and also like Melbourne's multicultural, so it's getting so mixed.
Yes,
like
it's getting
so
more
great.
Colorful by the day. Yeah. Well, I think that's a all right thing. I like it. I like a place where it's like a big mix, because
it is good. So like for me, the way I see it, I do love that I'm being Iraqi and the way that I have come from, and like me speaking Assyrian and Arabic and the culture that I have like taken. I do see it as a privilege, but at the same time, I don't like the Charlotte traditions. Like, I don't accept it. So I do see it as a privilege. It's amazing, and it's amazing to be multicultural, but at the same time, there are certain things that it's about you and you're choosing.
Yeah.
So like, I don't see it fair that you should be controlled by the culture or like anybody else.
No. Yeah. Because think about it, culture. Well, actually, I'll get back to this. I want to put an end to that whole bullying story. I got a good point about culture. I'll tell you about it. Because with the whole bullying story, long story short, year 11, I started changing because of what I said. I started accepting things, denying things. I started challenging my parents on their ideas, started challenging my cousins on their ideas. And it kind of like cemented who I am through my friends.
You saying you started changing them?
Yeah.
How come? You're just one person and they bunch of people.
I know.
How did you manage? Was it successful?
Sometimes it's not. But that's like early. So with the whole, that's family. With the whole school thing, when I came back, year 11 was like a whole developmental year for me. I just worked on myself. During the break, I came back year 12.
What do you mean, worked on yourself?
On my personal stuff, like what kind of person I am, what kind of person do I want to be, how do I think, how do I want to think.
I see.
And like at that age, you think you know it all, right? Right? And so you become more confident.
Yeah.
And so when I came back in year 12, I still remember the exact same word a girl named Brooke said to me. She looked at me, she's like, oh, you're like a whole different person, right? This is like Fidel 2.0. And I was like, no, you're right, but I'm not a whole different person. I just became more of who I am and who I should be. End of year 12, I'm friends with everyone. And I
Without bullying?
Huh?
Without you getting bullied?
No.
That's good.
Even the guys that bullied me, they ended up being my friends. Right? And I ended up changing them.
Okay.
In a way.
That's interesting.
Right? I didn't become like the most popular kid in school or anything, but I was friends with everyone. And everyone, unless like we had a couple of assholes. Franklin, I'm looking at you, right? He was an asshole. But we had a couple of assholes. That was all right. But for the most part, everyone was good. Everyone was all right. Everyone was decent. I actually ended up changing my friends. Like they started liking the things I like. They started talking the way I talk. They started immersing themselves in like, say, for example, I had an artist that I used to listen to all the time. Fuck, The Weeknd, right? I used to listen to The Weeknd all the time.
Yeah.
And my friends were like, why listen to The Weeknd all the time? Like, that's just kind of annoying, right? And I would talk about it all the time. I would talk about the music all the time. They got pissed, right? And they're like, all right, stop. We get it. You're a big fangirl, right? Now my friends are buying tickets before I do for the concert.
Whoa.
Yeah, right? And they all text me like, are you going? We want to go together. So yeah, you change them. But with the whole culture thing, think about it like this. Culture existed for how long?
How long?
6,000, 8,000, 9,000 years? Like if you want to take it all the way back to Mesopotamia, right? Egyptians. So something like 40,000, 50,000 years. It still exists till this day.
Yeah.
Think about culture from the 70s and the culture from now. It's not that long. 40 years, 50 years. It shifted. Now, if you have a parent that's born in the 70s and you're born in the 2000s, that's a 40-year difference, 30-year difference culture shift. If they grew up with this culture, you grew up with this culture, they have to understand that there's a difference in the way you think, the way they think. They can't force you to be raised up on what they think is right. And this is where most parents get caught up.
Yeah.
This is where most
and
parents
it's hard,
get in the middle.
coming from like Middle Eastern culture.
Yeah.
It's so hard to accept that you're kind of not controlling your kids anymore. Especially like for the teenage period. It's like when I have seen it. It's like a theme. Most of the kids that they want to pursue a career or like a course that they would like, and the parents' theme is like, you'll become a doctor, you'll become an engineer. I'm like, oh my God, not again.
Not again.
So it's so
it's so like, bizarre to see.
Yeah,
too.
and so sad. Exactly.
Sad.
Because some people are really gifted in so many different places.
100%.
But they have to go through like, they have to do like medicine or like they have to do engineering where they're not gifted in those places. And by the end of it, they screw up on it and they don't get success in what they gifted for. And the reason why they just trying to please their parents, which is not fair.
It's depressing.
Yeah,
it's very depressing.
Yeah.
And you can see it. You can see it in their faces, and they do what they do. They do the degree, and they could finish it.
And they change their personality by the end of it. Like I know some people who were really social people and like extroverted, but because they doing something that is not fitting for them, like medicine. If you're studying medicine, you wouldn't have the time to see your friends or do the things that you used to do.
No.
So you would end up changing who you are in order for you to pursue something that you don't even like. Which is very sad.
The bigger risk is them doing that and then taking it on their kids when they end up getting married.
Do you think they would take it to their kids?
100%. It's a whole cycle. It's a whole cycle. It starts from the grandparents to the parents to the kids to the grandkids, unless you're ballsy enough to like break out of that cycle.
Okay, I see.
And not a lot of people are ballsy enough because it's trouble. It's big problem. Because imagine standing up to your parents and saying, no, you're wrong.
It's hard, but at the same time, there is different approaches. Like with my family, they wanted me to study medicine and become a doctor. But they knew I always been passionate about psychology. So the way that I have come through to them is not by standing against them and telling them that you guys are wrong. I didn't do that. Okay. But the way I came from it, I want to become a psychiatrist, Okay. But the way I'm going to do it is by studying psychology first, and then continuing my honors and masters, and then I could do my PhD and become a doctor. So like, it's same, but I'm doing what I'm liking rather than me going through a path that I'm not going to be happy with, but I'm going to do something that I'm happy with and going to succeed on it. At the same time, you wanting me the title of doctor, okay, you're going to receive it. But it takes years. Okay. So after that conversation, they actually started encouraging me and like kind of seeing the point I'm coming from. And after me seeing like, after they saw what I have done within the 3 years, like me succeeded in high schooling, become the school captain, started working, they started seeing that, well, it's not about coming from that mentality that you should pursue medicine and only medicine and focusing on your studies, but you could become a successful person and studying at the same time. So now like they very like kind of happy that I'm studying psychology, and they kind of like not forcing me anymore like to do things that I don't like.
But isn't that kind of like blue pilling your parents in a way?
What do you mean blue pilling?
Well,
I started with that, but at the same time, like now they saw by the result that I have come from. So like
I know, but it sounds kind of like manipulative.
Well, you see it like that, but I don't. But I'm not lying. Like
I know you're not lying. You're not lying. But also, like, you kind of give him a bait, right? It's like, hey, I can still be a doctor, just not the kind of doctor you want.
Yeah.
Right? Because you were talking about medicine.
Yeah.
A doctor
but,
in medicine, like a general doctor and psychiatrist do different things.
Well, yeah, it's like either way, even if I chose medicine, I would have to choose like somewhere to specialize in, and I would still be choosing psychology. So I just
Can you do that?
Yeah.
You can
So
specialize
people
psychology
like
in
yeah,
medicine?
exactly. Psychiatrist is like people who have studied medicine and then psychology,
Oh.
and like it's kind of you treating people with medicine. Like if you have depression, I would describe your medicine.
Oh, okay. Like
But
a clinical psychologist.
Yeah, clinical psychology. Yeah. But what I was wanting to do is becoming a psychologist, which is still a clinical psychologist, but without the medicine. Because like for me, I did not love just describing people and you go.
Yeah.
I wanted to sit with the people and listen to them.
Yeah.
And that is a whole different, like two different careers and two different like ways to study for it. So when I started explaining to them the pathway and also like system here, they got to understand it. So like it was me taking so many steps of explaining the high schooling system here, thus explaining the difference between VCE and VCall, explaining the ways how hard is it to get into medicine, because like you should be genius to get into medicine here. And I told them like, come on, this expectation, and I only been 1 year in Australia or 2, because at that timing I was in year 11 when I should have chosen what I want to do. So they started understanding and seeing. So I was not kind of like I did tell them the truth, but I told them to them in a smart way. Like,
is this the female way of saying things?
Like, yes, you want me to become a doctor? Sure. Yeah. But this is the way, So I just explained it differently.
Yeah.
But it was truth. So I just said the truth. So, and now my brother, it was an expectation for him to become an engineer.
Oh, no.
But he's wanting to do designing.
Okay.
And recently, he does not want to do uni at all. And he would... So, for me, I was supporting him. And now they kind of like understood that he wants to build his career first. Okay. And then later, he would be pursuing uni.
How old is he?
Now, he's 11, 17 years old.
He's got time. He's got plenty of time.
Yeah, so now they kind of like not forcing him to like or enter uni at all.
So you kind of like expanded the limits of your parents.
And even with my older brother,
okay,
he did not go to uni.
Okay.
He did TAFE, and now he's a security guy. So... It's so like...
That's just how it goes, doesn't it?
So you just have to take the steps and be bold for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But you did it differently, though.
I did it differently and so many steps. But like one day I would be speaking to mom, one day to dad, one day together.
Okay.
And along with that, I was coming with so many diagrams. This is the system. This is the Australian system here. So like
you did a whole PowerPoint presentation. Imagine giving a whole PowerPoint to your parents on why should you not be controlling your positions. All right.
But I don't put it that wording. It's about you being smart and choosing the word. I didn't say, Dad, Mom, you shouldn't be controlling us. You should give others freedom. I didn't do that.
Okay.
And also, I didn't tell them that you're coming from a different culture. And because all of those things, they're aware of it, but they cannot control it. But we could come to approach where they are happy and us happy.
Where were you 3 years ago in my life? You wouldn't know. Now it makes sense why I was kicked out like 4 times. Okay. But I think... you did it the smart way. I was more upfront with it. I told him straight up, hey man, this is my way or the highway. Okay.
It takes time and patience. Like I had to be patient with that. And I knew I had the time because like I did that research in year 10. So in year 10, once I came to Australia, I started asking so many people a bunch of questions, how to get to become a psychiatrist. So I understood the system. And then when I came to Melbourne, I knew that Victoria would have a different like laws and system.
Yeah.
So at that time it was COVID, and university were offering Zoom sessions where they're gonna explain about how to enter psychology, how to enter medicine. So I did attend all of those, ask lots of bunch of questions till I was confident enough with what I'm saying, because I don't like lying to my parents. So the way I have come to them, it's I did have all of the information, but I chose what to tell them.
That's so wicked, but it's so smart. I can't decide if it's evil, smart, manipulative.
Why would it be evil?
I don't know. It's just like it sounds like a big plot. It sounds like you put in the work into writing what you're gonna say. Like you orchestrated the whole thing. Well, that's good. Like
and the good thing, my parents were like my mom is very open-minded. And my dad would be impacted by her easily.
Oh.
So I would approach mom first.
Let's see, you did have a tactic.
So
yeah, the whole game plan set out.
Since mom was very understanding, I would be telling her. And she would see my suffering when I was suffering for VCE.
Yeah.
So I told her, Mom, do you know that medicine would be even harder and even more?
That's manipulative. That's so
well,
manipulative.
I'm not lying at the same time. And then
That's
I told
exactly
her for
what
medicine.
a manipulative person would say.
And then I told her that for medicine, I wouldn't be living with you guys. I should be living on campus.
That scared me even more. You see, you scare tactics. So it's like, pick which one's scary less, you know. Is this more scary? Is this less scary? Like, you could end up losing me for 2 years.
Well,
but
it was a fact that I was going to do medicine. They gonna end up losing me, you know?
Why?
Because, like, I was not, like, my characteristic is a very social person. And I don't just do study by itself. Like, you seeing my timetable now, I have uni full-time and part-time job where I'm socializing with people and doing different stuff. So I cannot just sit and do study by itself for the whole week. So this is one way. And the other thing is the fact that English is my third language. And I only have learned English within the 3 years. So, like, if I'm going to medicine, like, come on, how would I know the scientific backgrounds, what they're talking about? Like, I'm not a genius to be guessing what they're going to talk about. So it's going to be a double up, like, for me. I wouldn't be sleeping at all, spending all nights translating things to understand. So, like, it was a fact, you know?
Okay.
And at the same time, I wouldn't be succeeding. And they wouldn't be happy seeing me not succeeding. So...
Because your heart's not in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My heart, my brain.
Yeah.
Like, so just had to be smart enough to do it differently. But I wouldn't say it like being smart enough. It was about taking the steps and being courage. Yeah.
Well, you did slither your way out of it in a way. Hey, man, I mean,
But now, if you
works.
see them, they all, like, not different people, but, like, they
They're
kind
different.
of, like, so proud, very, very, very proud of what I have achieved, what I have done. And only, like, now they kind of supporting me 100% with whatever decision I'm going to take.
Okay.
Even if I'm going to go to them now, Mom, Dad, I'm dropping psychology. They would be trusting me 100%. So they kind of, like, trusting 100% me and, like, happy of what I'm doing and trusting my choices because they have seen what I have done. They know that I'm a wise, like, person that would be choosing, like, the good thing because I do consider every single point when I'm taking a decision, big, like, pursuing something.
Yeah, but you had to go through it for them because, like, with parents, you can't just talk and expect them to believe.
Well, true.
You can't because they saw you as a kid and they still think you're a kid and they wouldn't take your
Well,
word
they're
unless...
not accepting the idea I'm 20 years old now.
Well, there you go.
Well, I'm always reminding them that I'm 20
I'm
years
20. I'm 30 in like 10 years.
old. No, they still see me like the get Sarah. So, which is okay. I'm fine with it.
But you're the middle child, yeah?
Yeah, how did you know? Oh, yeah, I just mentioned that.
I'm not that stupid. All right. I talk on a podcast for like 2 hours, but I have other things. I have other hobbies.
Okay, that's good.
No, because it's weird to see a middle child stretch the boundaries so much.
And
They're-
I'm the only girl in the family.
Oh, but there you go. Even worse. Even harder.
Really, is it?
Yeah, because like as a girl, in our culture, you don't expect them to like push the boundaries, or do you? Because for
Well,
us, I don't
true.
have a sister.
And I don't
wouldn't.
expect them to be listening to me just like they would do for
To
the
your brothers?
elder kid,
Yeah.
especially because
Yeah,
he's the elder, he's the leader, he's the taking care of the whole family and their like sibling as well. So
Okay.
yeah, you have a point. True.
But I think part of the good thing, like, I have a brother and he enjoys all the benefits that he gets out of me stretching the boundaries. The guy doesn't talk, he doesn't open his mouth, right? And it's just like, I don't know, it's the guy doesn't do much. Like, if there's a whole world war happening in the house, he's sitting back. I'm all the way up there, right? I'm like Jabha all the way fighting, and he gets all the benefits without moving a mouth, you know.
The younger brother, yeah.
Not older.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
because this is the case with my younger brother, you know.
No, it's the other way around, right? I'm the youngest. We're just two,
Oh, okay.
and I expand the boundaries all the time with what we
but
can do.
he's
and we can't
already
do.
old, like
He's already old, but he doesn't do like what I do, right? He doesn't.
But you wouldn't. I see that parents, they don't put pressure
on the oldest.
like on their taking decisions, but they do put pressure on the oldest to be responsible.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
which is like
that's why I disconnected
like it's a
from them.
balance as well, like for them.
Yeah.
Like being responsible for like the other siblings is not easy at all because they gonna be at risk, like because they know that we are risky and we take risky decisions,
the risk.
and they have to protect us, you know. So it's hard for them, but at the same time, since they're not putting the pressure of responsibility on us, we got to do other things. So that's why this is how I'm seeing it, you know.
Like tax breaks in a way. But no, the thing is that shifted even with my brother, because he used to be like, I get what you're saying. We used to be in a dynamic where if I used to fuck something up, I would blame it on my brother. And he would take it. He wouldn't like be quiet about it, right? But then if I did something bad and my parents wanted to like tell us off, they would go to my brother and they're like, why'd you let him do it? It was like, how is it my fault, right? And this is like when we were like 17, 18, 19. He's like 4 years older than me. And so he's more mature. But now we're at a point where he sat him down. He's like, listen, he's 22 right now. I'm 27. I'm not responsible for a damn thing this guy does right now. Whatever happens, you go back straight to him, right? It's sad, but I take it now. He's moving on. We're shipping him off in a year or two. So it's just me at this point and my parents. But they got to a point where they're okay.
And you're 22 now, so
I'm 20.
It's better. Like when you get older, I think it's better in some ways.
Well,
some ways.
For us, they think we're only old enough when we get married for some reason.
Oh my God, that is like sad, but at the same time, like they cannot see us like growing, you know.
Even if you get married.
Yeah.
Like I know some people. The guy is married, yeah, but his mom still rocks up to his house to make his bed.
But sometimes I don't like it because like you should give responsibilities for your kids. Like I have seen it a theme, like my mom would do everything to my siblings, which I don't accept, because they should take those small steps of responsibilities so like they could develop that they are gonna take their own choices in life. Because if you don't start with the small things, you're gonna end up, you cannot take your own decision when you're left alone, which is a problem.
And you expect others to do it.
Not just expect others to do it. Like I have seen the themes that since they were raised up in a family where the mom gonna do everything for them, and even for their clothing, that the mom gonna choose everything for them, or like the decision that they're gonna take others like parents' decision. So when the parents are like no longer there, they cannot take their own decision, and they would be asking somebody else like for not just advice, but to guide them what to choose.
Oh, to pull the trigger basically.
So that is like crazy, and at the same time very sad and dangerous. Because like you should be able as an adult to take your own responsibility, your own decisions, because by the end of the day, what you're gonna do, you're the person who you're gonna like take those responsibility upon you, you know? So I don't see it fair like to continue doing that. Like, I get it when we are young and babies, we cannot do things for ourselves, but there is certain, like, you start with a certain, like, small steps.
Yeah.
And recently I studied also in psychology, like how the interaction and being raised up in a culture where you are very independent on your parents,
Yeah.
that leaves you to be like interdependent. Like, you cannot take your own choices, you cannot, like, you are too much like relying on others rather than yourself.
Did they talk about which cultures?
Well, Middle Eastern, one of them.
Oh.
Yeah, and like also the
was Japanese part of it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's more of the Asian, Middle Eastern ones.
Yes.
And
Indian probably.
I
would
don't
be on the
remember
list,
for 100%.
Yes.
But
What would be mostly Asian, yeah?
Asian and Middle Eastern were on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but like while they did the same study for the Australian ones, they didn't see that. Like, they saw the Aussie people are much better, like in taking decisions and also relying on themselves rather than others.
It makes sense.
It does make sense.
Like, they get shamed, like white people and Aussies get shamed by these cultures like Middle Easterns and Asians and whatnot for being less in touch with their family. I don't see that.
Well, it's not about being you could still be living with your parents,
Yeah.
but still doing your own things. You know what I mean?
100%.
This is one way to look at it, and the other way, it's not just like not being in touch with your family, but because that is something very important.
It is.
Like to keep the contact with your parents and honor your parents and like respecting them. So I don't see it fair for like somebody to leave the house and not being in contact and not like being in touch with the parents. That is not right at the same, like also. So
Yeah.
you get to find a way to have a balance.
Well, here's the thing. With Middle Eastern background people, I speak from what I see, it's always a conversation. The narrative is always, oh, if you're white, if you're Aussie, if you're born here, if you're a Westerner, you become 18, they let you out of the house, you know, you got full freedom. We're not going to do that. We're not Aussie, we're not white, we're not Western.
But it's not about that. Yeah.
But it's not about that.
Exactly,
It's just not that. When they're doing that, when they're allowing their kid to do these things, it's not just because they don't care about the kid. It's because they care about the kid.
Yeah, they
because
do care.
They care about his or her personality to the point where they are letting him go willingly and go experience life and go rely on yourself. Go figure out what's out there for you. Go on a journey. Go on an adventure. Go on a trip. You can't protect your kid for so long. And this is what we try to do in our cultures. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's like Snow White, right? They try to protect her from Maleficent. What happens? She stays asleep the whole time. So she's basically blinded from society. She doesn't know what's going on outside because her parents tried to, they didn't invite Maleficent to the party. And what happened? Maleficent still showed up and she gave her an apple. And like the whole story is so compelling because Maleficent is representing evil. And if you're not inviting evil and chaos to the life of, you're not, okay with it in the life of your kids, it's still gonna show up. And guess what? If you don't teach them how to deal with it, they're screwed. They're screwed.
Yeah. And like, that's a very good metaphor to like for people to like imagine it. And I would say like, even when they are kids, it's to give them the responsibility to do their own bets, to wake up themselves. And also like, for example, when they start schooling, is to be dependent on themselves, that they're gonna wake up early, they're gonna dress for themselves. And sometimes I have seen parents where they gonna let their kids to use public transport. So they know that it's not always relying on your parents the last minute to drive you to school. And also like doing the homeworks. Like sometimes I see some parents do their homeworks to their kids, which I don't see it right, because you should be responsible for your own, what you're getting. Like the part of the homework is to teach you. So it's starting with those small things. As a kid, you starting with this and this and this till the point where they are 18 years old. They are like kind of, you have raised up an adult where they can take their own choices in life.
Well, this is what I say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it this way. If you have an 18-year-old who you think is not ready to take on the world, you failed as a parent. It's on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% on you. If you look at your kid as an 18, 19, 17-year-old, even 20-year-old, and you think they're not responsible enough, you fucked up as a parent. You let them down. Because it's your job to prime him to this point. It's your job to feed him information that's valuable. It's your job to teach him what to do. It's your job to show them how you can be an independent person. Because for all you know, you could be gone by the time they're 18. What are they gonna do then? They're just lost. A lost 18-year-old? Because it happens.
Yeah.
You see a lot of 18, 20, even 25, 24-year-olds that didn't have parents when they were young. Some of them actually made it out. And they did something with themselves.
Yeah.
And it made them stronger.
And even if the parents gonna leave the
Some
wealth for the kids, they not gonna be able to manage it because they never been exposed how to manage their own budget. How would they be able to manage the wealth that the parents left them with? Like, it's not about I'm gonna put it like that. It's not about the knowledge that you have, but it's about the wisdom, how you're using that knowledge. So they know and they've been left with so many things, but they don't have the wisdom to do something with it.
No.
Yeah.
And you see them, like, I call it the man baby. You see like a 29, 28, even 30-year-olds. They're lost. They don't know what they're doing. Like, they're caught up in things that have no meaning. They have no real sense of belonging. They have no real, I would say, purpose. They have no purpose in their lives. They're a 30-year-old man baby. He's got no relationship. He's got no good income. He's got no business. He's got no dreams, no aspirations. And it's sad. It's sad. Like, why would anyone have to go through that if it wasn't his fault? And it isn't. It really isn't.
Well, this is one way to look to it. Yes, it's not the person's fault, but at the same time,
it's his responsibility.
Like, you do have a brain and you do, like, think.
Yeah.
So even if you've been raised in a culture or family like that, or parents where they were controlling you, but you still get the choice, like, to choose your own choices.
And that's
so, like, there is some breaking points for the cycle that's been going for those kind of shallow traditions, I would call it. So, yes, 100%, you have the, like, you do have a point that it's not the kids' fault, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that the kids, they don't have a brain for themselves to think. And we are now living in a very technology world where we have access to so much information more than ever. So they've been they could come up to something like that and they've been listening to us, for example, or they've been exposed to a book or something else. So they could educate themselves and learn more about it and break those barriers down.
Yeah.
So it's just about being wise enough to use being wise to use what you have.
Well, this is what we talked about earlier. You have to be really ballsy. You know, you have to be ballsy enough to say, no, this is not the kind of life I want. It's not me. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna stand up with my shoulders straight, with my back straight, my shoulders back, and I'm gonna put my foot down and say no.
Yeah.
And whatever the cost is, whatever the cost is. For some people, it's
and you
family
gotta be
too,
responsible for your choices.
You have to.
That if you taking the steps to be bold and took the steps to be courageous, to speak about it and stand for it, you gotta be responsible for that choice and also receive whatever barriers that came out of that choice, you know?
Yeah, and you could be wrong at some points.
Well, true.
Because you're not a know-it-all.
Exactly.
Right? But you have to be willing to accept that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could get my ass bitten for all I know. But hey, I have to go through it.
Yeah, true. It's about learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life bites and you have to bite back. Right?
Yeah.
See, that's a bar. That's a clip. Clip it. All right, you heard it here first. Thank you very much. I should be a rapper, honestly, man. You're right too, yeah.
I think so.
Apart from your thoughts and feelings, what do you write?
What do you mean?
Like, do you journal?
Do I write? Do I journal?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
What do
So
you-
basically, since I was 14 years old, I started writing, and specifically, I was finding that my story is gonna be an inspiration thing for people to read. So I started journaling my story.
That's a very big claim.
Yeah, so I was 14 years old. I came up with this idea. So I started writing, and then I started writing what I was learning. So in Jordan, I spent almost 3 years there waiting for a visa to get to Australia. Did not have schooling there. So the way that I was educating myself, it's by YouTube videos, TED Talks, reading some books, and also doing lots of volunteering works. So, and also like attending some kind of workshops where
Okay.
I got to learn so many good life skills.
Okay.
So I got not daily, it was like twice a week where I would sit down and write what I have learned, what I have developed, what I have kind of came up with, and what sometimes I would write my feelings down. Sometimes I would feel like praying and I would write my prayers down. So when I came to Australia, I took all of those like notebooks. I still have them. So I started having this vision to make this vision alive
Okay.
and publishing my own book. So
At
last
14
year,
years old, yeah.
so last year I was 19 years old, and I started putting it into action.
Okay.
So I started asking people, how could I publish a book? And started gathering information. And I started going back to my notes of 14 years old and finding how good I gather all of those notes since 14 years old till the point where I am, gathering and put it into one book. And since I got busy with uni, I paused a bit, but I'm willing to get back soon to it and finish writing that book. So the writing that I'm doing currently is mostly focusing on writing my own story to be published.
Okay.
And then I do writing for learning. Because like when I'm listening to a lecture or like when I'm taking down notes, I learn much better and I do remember the information. So if I'm writing, it's either for my growth, learning, and sometimes I just feel like good to write something. So I use it in so many different ways.
Have you tried speaking your thoughts?
Speaking my thoughts, it's hard.
Like
I
recording
found it easier to write them rather than speaking them. Yeah.
But don't you think like speaking it captures the feeling more?
Well, I'm having a conversation with someone. Yes, I would prefer it, but to myself, I would be such a weirdo. In my own like,
it is weird.
in my own like personal opinion, but like I don't feel comfortable to do it for myself.
How about humming?
What's that?
Humming.
What does that mean?
It's like humming how you feel. So if you're sad, you would hum in a sad tone, like
No,
No,
I
not
would
for you.
cry. Better. Yeah, I would cry.
Would you?
Yeah,
Why?
or like, I would be if I'm reaching the point where I can't write my feelings, I can't speak about it,
Okay.
and I haven't exposed it for a very long time.
Yeah.
It would be at night time where I cannot sleep, and my window is just next to the backyard, next to the
Okay.
garden. I would open my window and watch the sky, and at a certain point, I would just be breaking down and crying, and after that crying, I would be feeling well. I'm feeling good now to open about my feelings, either write them down or speak to somebody next day. But the crying point is the worst because that's mean I have been taking so much where I haven't exposed it, which is not a healthy habit.
You think so?
For me, yes.
So like crying
Because
is...
like it's gonna impact me if I'm holding so much and not speaking about it. not writing about it, that's going to impact how I'm doing my daily basis. That is either studying. So I would be attending a lecture where my mind is somewhere else. So I would rather be not fixing the way I'm feeling, but exposing it and being open about it and speaking about it sooner better than later.
That's so deep, man.
I know. And like I have to practice it.
Okay.
And it's something that I learned this year.
How hard is it though?
Well, it's hard because like it's been a habit for me to not expose my feeling, to not even like the hardest time when I'm not writing about them, I wouldn't really have the passion to start writing. So it's very hard to break that kind of habit, I would say.
Okay.
The negative habit that I've been having for years, and now practicing something new that is beneficial for me, but at the same time very challenging to do that. But I'm seeing the result out of it. I started seeing changes, like when I'm being open and sharing about my weaknesses and my feeling, I'm feeling much better.
It's like a relief.
What's the relief? At the same time, I'm feeling like I don't have to carry the pressure upon me. It's like a burden that you carry if you don't expose your feelings and what you're going through. And also, I see it's something takes courage that you're asking for help, yeah? And also, I see that the person who's helping you, it's also something to be privileged themselves, that somebody else is calling them for help and to be honored. Like for me, when I'm like somebody's calling me to listen to them, I feel honored that they trusting me and like opening up for me, you know?
Yeah.
So how amazing it's to get into the mud with your friend, you know? And this is how you get to know who's your true like friend. Because like I have seen it is very often to have so many friendship, but in the time of the need, you wouldn't see anyone, which is very sad. So while you see yourself, you've been there always in the ups and downs moment for everybody. Whereas the time for you, you don't see that. Well, here is where you get to be wise and choose your friends wisely.
Okay.
Well, I jumped into friendship, but it was connected.
How would you start a friendship?
How would I start a friendship?
Yeah.
A good question. So it's been challenging for me because for the last 3 years I've been changing places, and I did have a culture shock because I came as a teenager to Australia, so did not have any friends, any at all here. So it was very hard like to be connected, to know and create those friendships. So it took me like 2 years till I felt confident enough that I call Australia my home now. So once I was confident enough, the way that I started doing friendship is by getting to know people, and not actually just for the sake that I don't have friends, I'm gonna make a friendship with you. But I started viewing it that, well, like now I'm settled down here, Melbourne is my home, the friendship that I'm gonna make here gonna last, because like it was kind of a rhythm inside of me that, well, even if I'm gonna make a friendship now, I shouldn't be investing too much in it because I know myself gonna be moving on. And that was because like I was moving on from Jordan to Queensland to Melbourne, and even within my hometown, we did not live in specific place. We were moving a lot. So I did not get to have a very long-term friendship. So now I set my mindset to that. And then like I have this confidence, set my mindset to that. And then just getting to know people. And if people are interested, they're going to be willing to continue be friends with you. And you should also put the investment of your timing into it. You should not be leaving it to your spare time. So this is what I started doing. I started scheduling time with my friends even with my busy schedule, like I would be meeting a friend at the uni during my breaks.
Yeah.
Or like if somebody else, like I got a friend who is studying psych with me. So I would tell her, well, let's watch the lecture together this timing and after we have lunch together. So starting with the small steps.
What's the most important thing for you in a friendship?
Most important. It's hard to pick.
You can give me 3 traits that you value the most.
That's easier.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so honesty.
Okay.
Also like the art of appreciating and the art of listening.
Appreciating what?
Because like appreciating the time, because we're living in very busy schedule nowadays, where we like I myself don't really have that much timing to be putting and investing into friendship. Okay. But yeah, I'm doing it. So appreciating that. And I also appreciate their time as well, because it's not easy nowadays to give somebody else your time, because I have found that time is the most valuable thing. So if you're not investing correctly into that, you're kind of wasting your time. And I'm not here to waste my time. Yeah. So the art of appreciating the time, and which most people miss that, like don't really appreciate that. Yeah. So I would be looking for something like that. So and also I said the art of listening, like the art of like not being friends for the sake of, well, I don't have anybody, so I'm gonna be friends with you, but really caring about you as a person, and got to experience with you the ups and downs.
Okay.
Yeah.
But why honesty then?
Honesty is something important.
Why?
I personally admire that, because like if you're not being honest with me, that's mean how the way I'm gonna treat you is based on what you've been telling me. And if what you've been telling me is not correct, we're gonna end up like breaking through, you know? Yeah. So honesty is something important, to be honest with each other. So if I'm like kind of struggling with something I'm finding hard in this friendship, I got to be honest and tell you, and not be ashamed that, well, I'm not gonna tell that person that they don't get upset. Okay. So honesty in every single point, whether like you feeling comfortable, where there's some stuff that you don't feel comfortable talking about, or there's something, an act that you saw from that you didn't like, being honest about it and open about it and accepting that, because this is what friendship is about, you know? It's not just, well, I'm a friend with you just for the sake that you being nice, you being a smiley person, and I don't accept the bad or like the bad or not good side of you, you know? So honesty play a huge part in that. And if you're not being honest into like a relationship of friendship, that friendship won't last.
Are you a quality over quantity person?
Yes, 100%.
So you probably have a very small circle, yeah?
Well, the way I see it is you being wise.
Okay.
So I do have a small circle of friends, which is about 3 to 5. And then the rest of the people, it's the people I socialize with. What I mean with that, like I do have friends, like about 20, 30. But they are people when I pass by, hi, how are you doing? And that's it. I'm not investing that much timing. But the close circle is they know me, and they know me personally. Okay. And maybe I would choose one best friend that knows every single details about me. So it's about, because like, if you're having 20 friends and you're being open with all of them, you're kind of having lots of pieces of yourself everywhere. But while you have this close like friends and you have one specific friends, it's much easier like to continue life with. Yeah. And also the rest of the people that I'm talking like that I know and socialize with, I still love them and I still care about them. But it's just the fact that I don't have the capacity to do with every single one, like investing into that friendship of timing. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, You work in the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been doing that?
So I started doing it last year in March, and my role was a youth advisor. So basically, creating program for youth in employment and education.
Okay.
And apart from that is designing those programs. So many different, like, it's not set role where sometimes we would be assisting the leaders, and in some timing, oh, sorry.
What?
Okay,
Sorry.
What? I'm confused. What happened?
no, I just pause.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want to keep going?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
okay, I was explaining about my role. We do lots of facilitation, public speaking in that role, and lots of support for young people. And it's a very broad role where you don't have something specific to do, but so many different things. So I worked into the media sometimes, creating flyers, creating like snapshots for stories. So and sometimes speaking to high people like politicians about what we're doing. So it's a very broad role where you got to do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, before I ask, was there something you wanted to?
Yes.
What is it?
You have the Young Leader of the Year.
Award?
From City Council.
Yeah, she won that like 3 days ago, didn't she?
Yeah,
Like,
true.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, I just did a bit of search on Google.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Is it on Google now?
Do you have a Wikipedia page? She has a
don't.
Wikipedia
No, I don't. But I was thinking
once
to
I
do.
search it,
We'll
it's
get it
come
set
up as a Hume website.
page. Oh, Hume website, yeah. Yeah, that's
And also was the young leader for 2023 for the Rotary Club of Melbourne this year.
look at you
So
go,
this
man.
year was the year of achievement, to be honest.
How much do you care about these awards?
Well, to be honest, when I was doing what I was doing, I didn't do it for the sake of getting the award or getting recognized. The awards came out of the result of what I was doing.
Okay.
So the awards were a point where like I felt happy, privileged, and thankful that I got recognized during that timing. But it was like a timing of, well, I felt those feelings. Now I'm gonna continue what I'm doing. Okay. So it was not the way I was viewing it. It was not like me doing to get the recognition or the award, but I was doing what I was doing, and then the award came afterwards.
Okay, so you don't dwell on it that much.
Well, what do you mean, like by that?
Do you put it in a plaque and look at it every day? Touch it every day?
Well, no. Well, I got a small office in my room.
Oh, yeah.
I did put those certificates on it, but I don't have the place anymore because it's a small office.
Yeah.
So now the new awards that I have got, it's kind of like on the shelf.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking, since my family is a Iraqi family and they are very privileged and honored of that, so I was thinking to give it to them and they put it on the wall for themselves. But for me,
100%.
I'm like...
They put it in the living room probably.
yeah, exactly. And like my parents, how much they were happy with it. Every guest that was coming over to my house, they were like, oh, Sarah won this. And they would bring the award and show it to them. But for me, when I'm doing socializing or doing like I'm being with people, I wouldn't be bringing that up because by the end of the day, it's about the quality of the people that I'm speaking with. Yeah. It's not about me showing up what I have done and what I have achieved because everyone would know that probably, you know. So why the point of me praising myself while like no need for it, you know?
Good job, Mesh. You put it on the spot.
Yeah, so, and I don't like it when my parents does that, to be honest.
Why?
Because like, I feel like
parents want to be proud.
Yeah, they are proud in their own way. But sometimes I feel like it's too much, like they already know that. So,
but
other people would know that because my parents has posted on social media.
Oh, yeah.
So like, if they want to speak about it, they would, but no need to keep speaking about it. But at the same time, this is what parents came up for. Like, we came to Australia for them to be like, for us, for the sake of us. So when they seeing us achieving all of those things,
It's kind of like full circle for them.
Yeah, so this is the point, like where they are very proud, very
Okay.
like happy, very like thankful that I have done what I have done. But for me, I'm like, well, it's not something that I will be showing up or seeing myself above people, because I did not do it for that sake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you're a youth advisor, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your general thoughts on youth right now, right here today?
Okay, to be honest, there are only limited people who are doing and seeking their potential,
Okay.
and the rest are lost, which is very sad. Which is why, like, being a youth advisor or what I'm doing now, I hope to make a little bit of difference. And me, since like I'm being recognized, I'm kind of like using that privilege to create that positive change to last. So when I was a school captain, I tried to use that platform to inspire other students when I was like last year. And this year, I got to see those students that I was trying to inspire. They started joining those programs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I was like, it's just like a planting a seed,
Yeah.
and you see the result later. So sometimes I do see the result of what I'm doing with like my generation, sometimes not. But I know and I trust that even like if not, the result is not showing now, but it's gonna show up later.
What do you think is the biggest obstacle in this job field?
The biggest obstacles. Well, there is so many different obstacles that I faced.
Okay.
But the main one, it was my English.
Okay.
Yes, I'm having this not fluent, like smooth conversation now. But that does not mean I got a perfect English.
Yeah.
So I do write lots of formal emails, lots of communication, lots of like things where it requires good English. And this comes a challenge for me. But at the same time, the people that I'm working with, they know that, well, I have not been in Australia for very long. So they do see it. They do encourage me. They do like support me, and they are like very proud of me. But at the same time, it's just something for myself. I always have been picking up that English. So
it comes with time. It comes like
yeah,
English
but
started good
I
enough,
haven't been
right?
very good like person with patience.
You haven't got a patient. You're not good with patience.
Recently I've been, but before nope.
Why? Why is it so hard to be patient?
When I first came to Australia, I was not patient, and I learned English within 6 months. So I was just rushing through it. But at a certain point, I got to realize that, well, now I'm speaking English. I'm in high school, so I got to pause a bit and reflect and be proud of myself rather than me rushing. Because what I have realized is never enough.
Okay.
Because like I have set those goals, I have reached them, and when I reach them, there are certain higher goals that I want to reach. So it's always gonna be that in real life, like whether you are students, whether you are working, it's always you're gonna see yourself. There's a higher expectation to do without taking rest, and that was a big problem for me. So now I got to learn is not about how much I'm doing, but it's about who am I becoming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are you becoming then?
Well, I would say I have become a lifelong learner.
Okay.
And I have to come to the conclusion that I don't have it all together. And I have come to the conclusion that it will never be enough. And no matter how much knowledge I'm gonna have, no matter how good I'm gonna get in life, it's still there's something to learn. So I got to realize how small I am, and just continue growing, continue learning, continue to be this person, continue being a student.
Okay.
And with this mentality, life has become a little bit easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is something that you would say to yourself 10 years from now if you had the opportunity to?
10 years from now.
Yes. So say you from 10 years from now is watching this. What would you want to hear?
I have to think about it. I have fought the good fight. I have fought the good fight.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
Are you still fighting it right now? Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, life is about a battle,
Yeah.
like where you continuously fighting, and that would be against your own kind of habits. Because come on, we all of us desire rest, desire to be in comfortable zones, but yeah, we don't do it because we know that that is not our potential and our purpose in life, just to be resting and like having fun in life. Yeah, life is not about being in your comfortable zone, but it's always about taking the risk and being bold and courageous and determined. So I would say that to myself, I'm fighting the good fight.
What's the biggest risk you've taken?
I have to think about it because I have taken so many risks.
Jesus. What's the first one that comes to mind?
The courage that I'm doing my bachelor now.
That's the biggest risk.
No, not
Oh, that's
the
the first
biggest.
one. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that comes to my mind. Well, it's kind of hard to think about the biggest one because each one has a variety of like differences. So I cannot say this is bigger, this is smaller, this is the biggest, you know? So one of them is doing what I'm doing now. And also the other risk I have taken is my part-time job with the CMY, Center for Multicultural Youth, where it's like project management, where I have never been exposed to project management. And it's me about doing lots of interviews with people older than me. So it was something new to me, and it was something that I did not have experience in. But yeah, I believed in myself. And also I have received lots of support where I'm doing it now comfortably. So it was a very huge challenge, but not anymore. Yeah.
Can you remember the last time you cried?
Good question. I would say a month and a half ago. And the reason why I was breaking through, and it was like last semester, it was a huge semester, like apart from my part-time job and studies, I was doing some extra bits of like volunteering, and I was a youth parliamentarian, like where I was working on a bill and speaking and advocating for current issue that the youth face in the Parliament House. So this was taking lots of my times.
Okay.
And what happened is I did not get to do well with my studies. And I reached the point that, well, I want to withdraw with my course because how huge it was and how pressure it was.
Yeah. Oh,
so
sorry.
This was like the last time I remember.
Was it that bad?
Well, yes.
Mascara on the face and all? Like, you know how they cry when mascara falls on their face?
Well, I'm not a makeup girl, so yeah.
I would do it if I was a girl. If I wanted to have a cry sesh, I'd just go apply mascara just before I guys are falling all black tears. It would look so good. I would record myself
Well,
doing
it's
it
hard
too.
for me to have those like tears or like cry. It's only I would be crying that much is only when I have reached my limit and beyond.
Oh.
Yeah, and this was the last time I have reached my limit and beyond. And it was hard for me to see me failing into my passion, which was psychology and what I was doing. Despite the fact that I did put my best into my studies, but yeah, it was not enough. And it was hard for me to accept that idea. And beside that, I have my work was going on and my program that I assigned myself to. So I was like, I have other things to look up for and to keep going for. But at the same time, I don't want to be failing. It was hard for me to see myself failing my course, you know? And I did fail 2 subjects.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was so hard. It was terrible. And it took like a week where I didn't go to uni and I stayed at home in order to finish my assignment. But it was way too hard. It was lab report. Oh, yeah.
She sounds very emotional talking about failing 2 units.
Yeah, it was hard. So in order to catch up with it, I spoke to student advisor and I will be taking some summer subjects. So I worked it up.
Okay.
So now when I see it, it's okay that I have failed.
Yeah.
I have came up with backup plans
Yeah.
for my studies and for my own good. But at the same time, I came to the conclusion to not put too much pressure on myself and too much into my plate.
Okay.
Yeah.
But with everything that's going on in your life, it sounds really difficult to like coordinate everything and still maintain a social life, still maintain family life, friendship life, you know. But you still do it.
Yeah. I still do it.
Are you happy that it's the way it is right now?
Well, yes, because like I cannot see my life without having family in it, without having friendship in it, without being socializing, without having my work that I'm doing.
Okay.
So I'm happy with it, but at the same time, it's about the skills of time management and realizing your own limits and not put beyond. So I would say it's not about happiness anymore, but it's about having the balance.
Okay.
Yeah. And that balance, it's what gives you meaning and purpose, and that would bring happiness.
What's your thoughts on relationships?
Relationships in general?
No, like romantic relationships. Because relationships is essentially like friendships.
Well, yeah.
But there's difference.
Specifically on romantic relationship, in my point of view, it's if you are being this kind of like crazy people falling in love, it's gonna last 6 maximum to 2 years, and after that it's what comes a lifelong relationship that you get together with your partner.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't really support that me wasting my time on having a romantic relationship that's gonna last for 1 year, because it's so damaging.
Okay.
When you get to know somebody and you get to know them deeply, and then you realize that your characteristic and their characteristic is different and don't match, and you have to break up. So this is a very hard timing and a very hard challenge to do and to continue. And in order to continue for you, like for somebody, you facing lots of pain, you are at the very lowest point. So here is where they jump into another relationship without realizing that they got to give time to themselves, to accept, to heal, and then move on, you know? So I wouldn't be wasting my time for a relationship that I know is not gonna last. And plus, since like I have came up to the conclusion that there is no point for me to date unless I want to get married.
Okay.
Because like, what's the point of knowing somebody and hang up with them and you're not committing to that person? So this is how I view it.
But how would you know you're not compatible with a person 1 year into the relationship?
Say that again?
Because like at the start you said that there's no point of being with a person for 1 year and then you found out that you two have two different characters.
So at the beginning, I would say you have to know yourself.
Okay.
So you have to know yourself, your characteristics. So for example, I know myself, I'm a logical person, I'm a good listener. So when I'm choosing somebody to date, I wouldn't be choosing the exact same person like me. They got to have a balance at the that is matching. So if you know yourself and you know your characteristic, you know who you are, you would be able to choose.
So you think it's more contrast, like two opposites attract, right?
Not 100% opposite. Like if I'm very let's say if I'm 90% logical, I wouldn't be choosing a 30% logical person because that is gonna make life hard for me.
Okay.
But choosing like 75% logical.
Like in between.
Yes, like
the sweet spot.
It's not 100% exactly like you, and not 100% exactly different to you.
Okay. That's a weird dynamic because I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times you see people that are like two different things together.
Do they work together?
Some
They
do.
are?
Some do.
But it's very
I don't
challenging.
think it does.
But it's very challenging.
Yeah, because like if you have an orderly person
Mhm.
and a messy person living together, it's just a recipe for disaster.
And like if you're planning to get married and have kids,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard for the kids. So here is why like you get to have a balance, because like if I'm being too harsh on my kids, he has to be a little bit like less
Less
on them.
harsh.
Yeah, exactly. Because like the kids should have this kind of a balance, you know.
Okay.
So
Would you whack your kids?
would I? I don't support it.
Okay, good.
But at the same time, there is some studies that has found is good. But I personally, I find it from a psychological background is that is not good, and like it's gonna traumatize the kid. So
Okay.
in some ways,
What kind of studies they found that it was good?
well,
Like
what kind of
good
studies?
in what way?
Well, listen, this was a long time ago.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure about it,
Okay.
but it was like kind of, if you're gonna do it, you do it properly, like either on their hands, like not on their face or like other places, you know.
Okay.
So like doing it, so they learn. So like, for example, if a very like young kid, like 3 to 4 years old, where they don't understand verbally,
Okay.
and they want to like touch a heat or something that is hot that's gonna burn them. So here is where like the response, either like if they not responding verbally, if you do like that on their hands, they're gonna understand that it's something
That's bad.
dangerous and you should not do it.
Okay.
So in this kind of way,
Yeah.
that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read somewhere in a book that I think it's a Jordan Peterson book. I don't know. He was talking about how he wouldn't like whack his kids,
Hmm.
but he's not totally against physical.
In some ways, it's good. Like this
It's-
example. Like,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he described it in a way where it's your physical disciplinary action. He put it in such a like professional term, right? It's essentially not whacking your kid, right? So it's like if you have a kid that does something bad, you would maybe like grab a pinky and like press it real hard. Maybe, you know, just grab their hand, like press it real hard. Maybe the ear, instead of twisting the whole damn thing, you would like grab the ear and press it real hard. So it works, right? It works. Because then the kid is going to understand, like you said, that this is bad. You're not supposed to do it, because
Yeah.
sometimes they don't listen.
exactly.
They don't listen.
Exactly.
Like,
And they want to discover everything, like as a kid.
which is fair.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to like, you know, prevent the kid from discovering shit,
Yeah.
but you also don't want him to do the things that he's not
Yeah.
supposed to do at that
Mhm.
age right
Yeah.
now. And so it makes sense. I get it.
Mhm.
Just don't whack your kids. Don't just go, "Lapsis, kashmar." But it works.
Yeah.
So
I've
you-
seen it, like, it's very damaging, especially
yeah.
like where I come from, like Iraq, we used to do it at schools,
Mm.
and it was very terrible. Like, I seen some people talking about it, and they full of emotions,
Mm.
and that they bring from the past. So that's why I'm saying it's traumatizing. So
Yeah.
I don't, like, I'm against it.
It screws you up in the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, it's so bad.
When you grow up, you see it on some people. Like they lock it away and they
Yeah.
don't think about it, but they show it. How do they show it? They do it to their kids. That's how they show. That's the most simple way.
Yeah.
Or anger issues.
Yeah,
Most
exactly.
of the people
Like,
that have.
it's gonna be really like revealed in so many different ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They don't even realize that.
Exactly. They don't know the reason for it
Yeah.
because it was long time ago. But it's in their like cognitive behavior, you know, like it's stuck there. Even though they
Cognitive,
don't know the deep reason for it, but they have it there.
Cognitive. You definitely do study psychology. We have a whole cognitive psychology subject this year. I haven't done 1% of the work. And don't give me a judgmental look. I don't have time.
I'm also behind in my work, so like
Oh,
I'm
there you
not
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Hey man, at least I didn't fail.
But this week is the week off of uni, so
It
I'm
is, yeah.
trying to catch up. Yeah.
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 Are you gonna catch up? Are you
Well,
gonna-
to be honest, if I'm staying at home, nope. Because at home I get like just not disturbing. What's the word? Like distracted.
Okay, yeah.
Distracted
Disrupted,
easily
yeah.
by my like the whole family, because like if mom comes and have a conversation with me, and then my brother, and then my dad is coming, and then it's lunchtime, so the whole day would finish and I haven't done something. While what I do, I would either go to the library, study there, and I would have like set some timings and goals that is small to reach.
Okay.
Or I would be studying with a friend. So this Tuesday, I got 2 of my friends studying at the university.
Okay.
So I'm planning to go and join them. And other than that, this is the only way I could, unless it's an assignment and it's due and I have to do it and I have to force myself to study at home.
Have you ever tried leaving your assignment to the last day, the last 15 hours, the last hour,
Yes.
the last 59 minutes? Not even like submitted it, like starting. Have you tried starting an assignment in the last hour? It's so good. It's so good. Like there's something so like you get a big sense of achievement. You're like, all right, locked and loaded 1 hour to do this shit. It's probably like 2,000, 3,000 words. You haven't studied. You have done zilch research, no research whatsoever. You sit down from the computer. You got ChatGPT on one hand. You got a coffee on one hand. It's usually like 11 p.m. And you feel like prime Kobe when you're doing that, like prime LeBron James dunk in last minutes. It's so good. And like,
I have done it and I felt so terrible.
why?
What do you mean why?
It makes me feel so achieving.
That's satisfaction.
It is. Like, sometimes I'd go out of my way to leave it last minute, right? Like, the thing is, like, you do it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just how it works. As a guy, I'm telling you right now, if you don't submit it last minute, are you really submitting your work? Like,
well, listen, I have 2 siblings. So when I'm leaving my work to the last minute and I would be emotional, my younger brother would come and push me and put the emotion on the side. So I have learned it from my siblings. This is one fact. The other fact, I used to not do that. I used to submit all the assignment before due date.
Okay.
But since I started uni, things changed, which is like, I don't like it, makes me frustrated. At the same time, my brother is beside me that is encouraging me. So, but at the same time, I'm trying to adapt to uni system. It's not that easy. And also, apart then adapting, is how hard is it to write a scientific report where I don't use those regular phrases. Or when I'm doing the research, for example, and I have exposed to all of those articles, that is a whole new language for me. So I'm like, what I'm supposed to understand or read from that? So I have to came up with some skills, tips, ask people. And I have to realize that, well, I don't have to understand the whole article.
Okay.
It's only the abstract and the summary that they're going to give you the answer. So there are some tips and tricks that I'm still figuring out how to manage life with uni. And the other thing, writing essays is not my habit because, like, I do normally writing, yes, but not academic writing. So it's my first year to do that.
Yeah.
So it's horrible, like, when I don't have the experience in it, when I have never done something like that. So that's why what I'm doing in psychology is really challenging, like doing those assignments. But the good thing about those, we do have video assignment, which I do really enjoy. I do enjoy talking. I do enjoy doing things verbally rather than writing for academic. So I've been succeeding and achieving high marks for videos, while for the assignment and the essays or labs reports is what's dropping me down. But I have met some students who are in the 3rd year who are willing to give me their tips, tricks, and like some studies that they have done. So it's so good to gain that experience from them because I don't have to go through what they have been through.
Okay. Well, I was going to add, diamonds are made under pressure. And so, 1 hour to do a whole assignment should be good.
Well, for you maybe, but for me, it's gonna take longer. If you're gonna take 1 hour, I would take 2 hours to translate things and understand it.
As well as ChatGPT.
Well, my uni use Trinity, so like there's no way I could use ChatGPT.
ChatGPT plus Grammarly.
Grammarly is good.
Yes.
I will start using that. But like ChatGPT, I'm
they
really...
go well together, like this. They're like bread and butter.
okay, if you're gonna teach me how
All right,
how do you use ChatGPT
Here's
for
what you
your
do.
assignment?
You go on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You copy whatever information you want to copy. You give it the prompt. You tell it exactly what you want to do. All right. So yesterday I had 1 hour assignment, 2 short questions, 1 case study. We had 5 case studies, and we had to say if the case study was quantitative or qualitative, and if it's provide a single explanation. Your boy right here did 0 research. I went on ChatGPT. I told him, listen, man, I'm really sorry to do this, but I got an assignment to do. I need your hand right here. And he pulled it. I was like, sure, no worries. And if you pull it out right now, I've got the record on it. But don't, I'll get exposed. All right. And so I went in. I gave him the prompt. I gave him what he needs to do, and I gave him the case study. 1, 2, 3, 4. He made a table. He made it like all really good, all like thought out. And just to be safe, I copied all of that, put it in Grammarly. Grammarly is just like, that refiner for like cake and whatnot, the shaker. I put it in Grammarly. Grammarly made it sound a little bit better, and a little bit more sophisticated, if you may. And I submitted it. And I
Does your uni use Trinity?
Yes, Turnitin they use, actually.
So how come Okay, I'm shocked, because I missed that. But at the same time, is that authentic?
What?
What are you doing?
No. 0% authentic.
And do you like it?
No. That's when
then
I'm like
why
really...
do you do it?
Because I'm really cornered right now with time. Like if I wouldn't do it like last minute, last hour, I would put in the work. Because I like to know, right? Excuse me. But if I'm cornered with time, I don't have time. I don't want to miss out on good 15, 10% just because I didn't have time because I was recording or editing or something like that. Yet again, I'm terrible with time management. That being said.
Do you use calendar?
I use Google Calendars.
Yeah, Google Calendars are good. I started using that because I had a planner, but that did not work.
Okay.
But Google Calendar is much better where you can see your days and the hours that how you spent your days with hours. So you can see it visually and do it careful, which is very nice. So I started using that. It's kind of working for me. Yeah, and also apart from that, I created a planner for my assignment where I will be checking, and this week I have this assignment, so I should be starting on it. But do I start? No.
Are you good with time management?
Well, I told you
yes or no question.
No. But that does not mean I'm not this is not a black and white answer. I'm in between.
Really? You just said no.
Because you said no, yes or no. I'm not 100% yes, not 100% no. So I started this year, so that's why I gave you no. Because practicing it, I won't see the result now. I will see it later.
Okay.
So if you ask me that question in 2 or 3 months, I would be able to answer you.
Actually,
let me give you a question. Let me see if
hold on. Before you ask that question, hold that thought. You guys talk. I'll be in the toilet real quick.
Yeah, I would call it inspiration as well.
Did I miss out on? You were called an inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration, supportive, encouraging.
Are you a mentor?
A mentor?
Yeah.
Well.
Or do you have mentors?
I do have mentors.
How many?
It's kind of hard to kind of number them because different people in different roles and different timing is my life, but I would say 2 to 3. Yeah, but me being mentor to somebody else, yes, I think the one.
Ooh.
But not an actual mentor. It's more like a friendship, but it's kind of like mentoring.
Okay. They're your age?
No, she's younger than me. She's 17.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, so it's, you could call it mentoring, but it's not kind of professional work mentoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's like a friendship type.
Yeah.
Like an older sister.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Sisterhood.
Yeah,
and also friends. Okay. So it's kind of a combo.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're not that much older. I mean, she's not that much younger.
Yeah, true. Exactly, yeah.
Well, tell me more about the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence. What do they do? What is that?
Brotherhood of St. Lawrence. Their kind of logo is to make Australia free of poverty. And like to do that, it's by kind of one way is educating people. And once you have good education, you wouldn't fall into poverty. So they have so many different variety of like work sectors. One of them is the youth, is where I have worked and continue working with them. So basically with the youth, as I have mentioned, that they have designing and creating programs for education and employment, and they do have lots of like kind of not mentors but youth coach, where they do one-to-one supporting to young people. And through the program that we have come up with, it's kind of educational at the same time. It's fun for young people. And also like
they engage in it.
What's that?
The kids, the young people, they like it.
Yes. Since like because like the youth team, it's kind of like they have the coordination, and then they have like the managers, and they have the youth advisors. And the youth advisors like me are all young people. So when we're creating those programs are like our ideas, like coming from a young person to a young person. So I remember when we started, the programs were not really engaging that much, and not many people been showing up that much. But since we started working on it for about a year, last school holiday, we have about 50 people, young people, high school people turned up. And they were happy, engaging, and we did do soccer tournament where like it was like more of a competition, more like a team. So it was very fun, good memories, and also the kids started engaging. Like the students would not come by themselves; they would come and bringing somebody else, and that somebody else would bring somebody else. So this is the way that you could see that it's working well, and to see the difference that before. Like for those kind of activities, only like barely 2 or 3 people will show up. And now we have close to 30 and 50. You could see that it's working well.
Why do you think they want to come?
Well, one of the reason is is the friendship. Like I feel kind of disencouraged to go by myself. But if my friend is gonna be with me, I will come. The other reason is fun, like soccer tournament. Yeah, I would love to be playing at the same time, getting a trophy.
You do?
Or I don't like sport. But like for like if I was a young person, like not a young, I am young. Okay. If I was like a person who loves soccer.
Losing the plot now.
Yeah, so this is one of the reasons. The other reason when we do like excursion, like we did go to the Shrine of Remembrance, it was kind of fun to take them there out of like somewhere else that they haven't seen. So it's part of discovery. At the same time, when we did that, we did have a, what do you call it? No, like a tour guide.
A tour guide?
Yes. So they were guiding us like how the importance of Shrine of Remembrance. So it was kind of education for them, like to recognize the place and also to learn about it. At the same time, it was fun activity for them to get along in the school holiday to see their friends out of the school uniforms. Because and the other reason I would say they would be getting engaged is leaving the school. Like if we're doing a workshop during the school hours, they would be the happiest people ever because they don't really like the schooling timing. So one of the examples is my brother. Whenever I'm inviting him to a workshop, he would be like, is it during school? So this is the reason why people get engaged, in my opinion, and what I have seen.
Okay. But the thing is, at this age, it's really important to get them engaged with other people. And if you're doing that, and if you're doing that well, you're kind of doing them a favor. Even though some kids may not realize it, some people might be like forced to come. Dude, at this age, it's so important to like engage with people your age. It's so good.
And also like to set a solid foundation for them. Like part of what we're doing is helping them, like when we do one-to-one mentoring or like coaching, is for them to recognize their talents, their like characteristic, and seek that, and like keep seeking what they are good at and use it to reach their potential and discover their purpose and meaning in life. And I see it very amazing to do that work. And since like they are young people, if they're gonna know and discover their purpose since that young age, well, they're gonna be very successful people when they grow up, and they already like part of them growing up, they already becoming successful because like
Or more likely to be
yeah,
successful.
exactly, yeah. So it's kind of like you planting a seed.
Okay.
You kind of like guide them, tell them, and we don't give advices. Like apart of you being a coach, you don't give advices, but what you do is having conversation with them, and through that conversation is you directly guiding them to their potential. So that is what good about it, that they taking their own choices, you know,
Okay.
which I really admire. Like, don't advise me and don't tell me what to do. I don't want somebody to control me.
Yeah.
So that is part of it. So it's kind of, and always like we sit and reflect, like every time we have a workshop, every time we have a program or like something that we have done, we would get as a team and get reflection together.
Yep.
What we have heard from the young person and what us has planned. Was it successful? Was it not? So part of it is growing and planning and continuing on. So I would say it like that: review and realizing, reviewing, and reporting.
Oh, like 3 hours.
No. I mean like the process of it. Like it's you kind of like reviewing what has went well, as when was not good, and then realizing that like things that, well, we did set high expectation, we did set low expectation, and then kind of having that report and like to use it for next time when we're planning for something else, to use those like mistake that we have done and improving them.
Do you guys charge them for it, or is it free of charge?
What do you mean charge? Oh no, it's completely free for the young people to attend those things. Yeah, which is the other reason that it's they get engaged well. Yeah, and there is so many other support that Brotherhood of Settlers does, like giving free driving lessons up to 4, and also barista courses for free, public speaking.
Okay.
So lots of other trainings that they provide as well.
Where do they operate?
What do you mean?
Like, do they operate out of a building, or are they like sponsored by church, or?
Well, I believe they are not for profit organization.
Okay.
They not supported by, I think like it's kind of like they get the funding and the support either from the government or other organization, and they work in partnership.
Okay.
And they do have lots of location and buildings. So the one that I worked in, it was in Broadmeadows. It's especially for the youth. And there is another one also in Brody, I believe, is more for like the NDIS.
Okay.
So they very broad. They work across so many different areas, not just the youth.
But you look like you enjoy it.
Well, I love it. I love everything that is interacting with people, young people, and also like having a conversation with people.
Yeah.
So I got to do both, like to be with a young people. At the same time, my work colleagues, all of them are older than me. So part of me being curious and asking them what you have done, what you have studied, why are you doing that job, and discovering their why.
Yeah.
So by hearing their experiences, I'm kind of like, learning from them. And also they share their kind of story with me, which is very inspiring. So I got to enjoy it from every single point of view.
Are you the newest in the team?
Well, as a youth advisor, each year they have a new youth advisory group. So when I got into it, all of us are the youth advisor, which were 9, were new. But the others were there at least minimum for 2 or 3 years.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue with it? Do you like it?
Well, yes. I love it. And even if it's going to be a voluntary work, I will continue doing it. Because like for me, I don't see it's about money, but it's about giving back. Because like when I was young, this was like when I was in Jordan, these kind of things what made me engaged and like get life skills. So I want to continue doing that for other young people.
That's kind of the giving back aspect for you.
One way to it.
Why is giving back important to you?
Well, for me, it comes morely from my faith and from a biblical perspective, where Paul said it like it's much more like joyful to give rather than taking.
Okay.
So part of me, coming from my faith and like biblical perspective, it's something important for me. And the other part, I have experienced it. When I'm volunteering my time, when I'm giving back, I feel much more joyful than taking.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's so deep and profound for a psychologist because you're usually just taking, right? And not taking as in money or anything, but you're taking people's emotions. You're taking
Yeah,
people's...
exactly. It's not about money, like at all. Because like, what a privilege to be there and listen to somebody, and what a privilege and honor to get to serve people. Because by the end of the day, those people are like human beings, not like me sitting behind the computer and doing something. I'm not saying who does a computer job is not meaningful. I'm not saying that. But for me, what a privilege to be there and like listening and caring and having to deal with somebody else. Isn't it that privilege? It is.
It's... Well,
for me, yes.
It's a privilege in a way, but I think the word privilege gets a lot of bad connotation these days.
What do you mean, expand?
Yani, it gets a lot of bad rep because it gets used in contexts that some people say that I'm privileged. Say, for example, due to skin color, due to wealth, due to being born somewhere. They use these kind of terms.
Yeah.
It's like white privilege is a term that they associate to it. And so it gets a really bad rep. But I get it. We kind of screwed up the whole word as a society today. But I get what you mean. Would you say you're privileged or you're honored?
Define them. What's the difference?
Okay. Privilege is more like... Actually, let's start with honored. Honored is more like you're held at a place by the other person up high. Okay. Privileged is more like... How do you put it? You're provided something by a higher power, not by a person.
Wait, say that again.
So privilege is more like you're provided something, not necessarily because you deserved it. Honored is more like you did something, and so you earned what you're getting.
I would say privileged.
Okay.
And the reason why for it, because at the beginning when I started, there wasn't somebody to recognize me and clap for me or recognize my work, because like I did volunteering work in Jordan. I did it in Queensland, and I didn't get the recognition. I didn't get honored, but I kept doing it. So I feel like being honored comes after you being privileged. So like, when I got to be awarded for Young Leader this year twice, it just like, people recognize my work, but I was doing it just before people was recognizing my work. So what was driving me? It was being privileged to provide.
Okay. It's a very general use of the word. It's because here's the thing. Some people would use the word privilege in the context of white privilege, for example, right?
White. What do you mean by white? Define it.
White, like color. White privilege.
So if I'm being nice looking.
No. No. There is pretty privilege. Have you heard about that?
Pretty privilege.
Privilege. Beauty privilege.
Okay. Well, I do recognize that because this is what the common worldly view is used. If you are looking good, beauty privilege, well, yeah.
Yeah, like it exists.
Which is that? Yeah, it does exist.
Yeah. That's why the word privilege is like used a lot, right? And there is white privilege, there's rich privilege, there is whatever. But like, it's stratus, it's society. More people are more privileged than other people. Doesn't mean we have to sit down and complain. That's just not how it works. Like, say if I was a Middle Eastern from a refugee background and someone else didn't have to go through what I go through, I'm not just gonna look at them and go, "You're privileged, you had a better life." But some people do that. Some people look at other people and go, because I was disprivileged, because I was, disadvantaged, you're more privileged, therefore your life is better than mine. And you start hating on these people for no reason. That's why the connotation of word privilege is bad these days. It's a brain dead conversation, if I'm being honest. Like if you're gonna have to have a conversation with a person like that, you might as well not. You're better off saving your energy.
Yeah.
If you're talking with a person that's just like, that's believing in like color and race and I would say wealth privileges. Like it exists, but it's not a motivation to hate. That's what I'm trying to say. Does it make sense?
It does make sense. I will have to take a break.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Nearly 2 hours and a half.
We've been doing
2
it for
hours.
2 hours and a half.
No way.
Yes, way. Well, how long did you think it was? Like 30 minutes?
I thought like we've been speaking for 1 hour.
No.
What did you get to the points that you were set in your mind to ask?
What?
Did you have some specific points in your mind to ask?
What do you mean?
Like, did you get, like, when you're coming into the podcast
Yes.
and you know about my story, did you have a set of questions to ask?
Not necessarily.
What's that?
Not necessarily.
So you didn't, you come in with just to have a flow conversation. Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, did you think all of this was like thought out?
Well, I thought like you have a structure, like goals to ask, like specifically.
Yeah, I have a structure, yes. Like with my guests, if I'm interested in the person, I'll get them to come. If I'm not,
I see, yeah, okay.
Like I'd have to be really interested in the person. To, I see someone, I'm like, I want to have a conversation with this person. And then they come and have a conversation. Because like that's how the show works. If I'm not interested, then what's the point?
Yeah, okay.
Like,
but I mean, it's more like guiding questions. Like,
no.
I would have this like point of view to discuss about or speak about. This is what I meant.
Yeah, well, it depends on the person. So if you're a person so you're not into sports, right?
No.
So we're not going to talk about sports.
Exactly.
See?
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Right? If a person is into someone like that, we'll talk about it. If someone, like we had a lawyer last episode.
I saw that.
Milad, right? We talked about drugs, right? We talked about existentialism, whatever. Like we can go wherever and whatever. And it doesn't necessarily have to be within the scope of the person. Because like you're so much more than what you do. Right? We had a singer. He talked about religion and conspiracy theories. Yeah. I don't know if you recognize Wad.
I don't know him personally,
Yes.
but I did like had to go to that episode.
Yeah. Do you go to Iraqi weddings much?
Well, not really, because like we don't have lots of family members here.
Okay.
But I do know the structure of Iraqi wedding, and I have been to it, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, if you go to that many weddings, you'll see him, you recognize him. Do you enjoy weddings? Big parties?
It depends.
Well, it depends on what.
Well, it depends if it's the person close to me or no. Like if it's a family member, obviously I would be like enjoying that to my highest.
Okay.
Yeah, but if it's like more like I've been invited to that wedding just because my family knows that person. No, I'm like, what's the point of me going and sitting down, you know?
Cousin's babysitter's barber.
So that's why. So it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's friends or like somebody I'm friend with, I would be really energetic, happy, preparing for it. But if it's like I'm kind of like going just for the sake of my family is going, here's where I'm like, well, what I'm gonna be yes, I'm gonna be celebrating those people who are getting married, but I don't know them, so I wouldn't be really engaging that much. I would be just sitting and enjoying the music.
Oh, well, it's also good food. Free food.
Yeah.
For like 6 hours.
But like, you know what? When I go out, I don't feel like eating. Like, because like I used whenever I'm going like out, especially like for work cases where we have lunch provided. Okay. Well, I don't eat as I would be eating at home. And the reason why is that I'm having a conversation with someone because I'm a chatty person. I chat a lot. Okay. So part of me, I'm like, I don't handle food. If I'm going to eat, I want to have a nap of 15 minutes afterwards.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What the hell are you eating, man?
And this is like kind of since a childhood. Whenever I would be having my lunch, I would be like sleeping or having a nap or like a quiet time. But I know that wouldn't be happening if I'm attending a formal like something.
You'd hope
like,
so.
Like, for example, the last award celebration or event that I went to, it was the structure of like celebrating young leaders. And I knew I was the top 5 finalist.
Okay.
So they did not
Did they
announce.
tell you? Did you have a feeling?
Well, I applied for it last year, but did not get the winner. And this year, they were the people who were pushing me to apply for it. So I was like, applied. And obviously, like with this new year, I have achieved much more things than what I have done previously. So I was like, maybe. But more of a feeling of a yes, because they were really emphasizing on me coming, me preparing a speech. So I was like, I know where is that leading.
So they kind of spoiled the events before you went.
But they said that all of the award finalists would do that speech. And they were kind of speaking from like all of you. So it wasn't specifically for me. But I did see it because like the way that they were approaching me. Yeah, and I did like analyze their body language and their voice and their tone. And then I was like, okay. And what happened on that night, it was like a split between like announcing the winners, having a break for dinner, and then announcing the other winners. So I was to be like, my category was announced at the very last. So during the break, we had dinner, and like we had so much of food, but I was like, if I'm gonna give a speech, I don't wanna like
burp
eat. So I was like, I'm gonna eat just a salad or something that is not light. Yeah, and it always happen. Like I don't eat much out, so
you go up for your speech, you open, ladies and gentlemen, if you may.
And it doesn't give me like food gives energy, yeah.
Sometimes. Depends, like.
But for me, when I'm out, I'm like, nope.
It depends on when you eat, because like if you're having something like masgoof, there's no chance you're recovering in like 2 hours, 3 hours. Even with tea, situation is bad. It's really bad.
So I keep on with long black or like a cup of tea.
What about when you go out with your friends and whatnot?
Oh no, if I'm going a fun day with the friends, I would just eat normally.
Parma.
Well, I don't like parma, to be honest.
You're kidding.
No, I like other things. Like recently, I've been enjoying the Greek restaurant.
Okay.
And their option, and Greek shawarma is so amazing. I love it. And Asian food is good. Like curry, I love it. Curry, with the
like
fried
Indian?
chicken. No, is that Indian?
That's
no,
Indian.
Like it's more like an Asian.
Asian.
I
What's
think
Asian?
so.
Asian is like noodles, isn't it?
Well, I'm not a fan of soup.
You're not a fan of soup. Why?
I like noodles, but I don't like having the soup in it.
Oh, you don't have to. You can ask for it to be like.
Yeah, this is what I
less
do.
watery.
Like Spanish noodles with seafood.
Spanish.
Like it's a healthier option.
What's Spanish noodles?
I have no idea.
Like from Spain, like the country.
No, not Spanish. Like what do you?
Spinach.
Yes, this one.
Oh, like the vegetable.
Yes.
Okay. This is gonna be so funny. I started imagining Spanish noodles in my head.
Okay.
Buenos dias, muchacha.
Well, you have to forgive me. I'm still improving my English.
No, it's okay.
Okay, but you know it now.
I know it now. It's just the whole idea of Antonio Banderas drinking, eating
like
noodles was
coconut rice with
coconut rice.
Green curry is good.
What's coconut rice?
Well, they cook it with coconut milk, which is very delicious, and it comes like a green rice, so it's good.
I gotta fix this. No, you're good. It's me, because like when I have a conversation, like I gotta see your mouth.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Right.
There is Spanish noodle.
What's a Spanish noodle?
Yes.
What is that? That's a paella.
Yeah.
Daniel Oliveira. Fideo. Oh no, it's a paella. Yeah, essentially. Yeah. I've seen that. I think Nando's have that option. Yeah. You should try. Are you gonna try it after this?
Yeah.
All right. Looks like I'm trying it too.
Yeah.
And I'm not paying a penny, am I? It's for my efforts. Thanks. See, he's inviting me for lunch. Well,
that's good.
Guy.
Good friendship. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
I would.
What?
I would.
You would?
Yeah.
Are we done? Is that what we're doing? We're doing Spanish noodles after this episode. All right, we can work out the logistics. He's paying though, so we're good.
Thanks for being generous.
Thanks for
We're
being
just
generous,
talking
man.
about giving more than
More than getting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
see?
you acting on it.
He
Good,
was
good.
he was listening to the whole episode the whole time.
But as Iraqi people, we tend to have this characteristic or trait like
Generosity.
Generosity, yes, and hospitality
Mm.
of paying, and like it's so hard to have an Iraqi food and an Iraqi friend, and you try and pay to the food.
Dude, I feel bad
Oh
for
my
all the
God.
cash registers that have to sit throughout that whole scene. You're just like, no, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right.
It's over.
It's
I
all right.
know. I feel bad for
Yeah.
those like
I
who
just-
works in the retail.
I give up. I don't force it.
Well, the way I do it with my friends is like tell them
Yeah.
that, for example, if this time you're paying, I'm paying next.
Okay.
So like this is a balance. So I don't have to fight with them.
You're such a politician, man. You do politics everywhere. Friendships, family. I swear. But it's sorry, you're a psychologist. It should make sense.
Well,
Well,
I'm
this-
not seeing the point when you're saying a psychologist since I just started on psychology.
No. You have to see the point. This is what we do. You don't study, but you tell people you're a psychologist, so you emphasize on the points. Right?
Okay, good.
Right, like right now, what are we gonna title the episode? Two psychologists walking to a bar. Right? It gets more clicks. They're like, oh, these people are really sophisticated. They know what they're talking about, right?
Okay. Well, we know what we're talking about.
Do we?
Well, yes.
Are
I'm
we
not
so-
saying a random
I know.
things or like I'm wasting your time or whoever gonna listen to that episode is not like
But
us talking like just random things that is pointless.
But we don't know fully what we're talking about. do
Well,
we?
correct. And we will never. Like we're not perfect human beings, but we're improving on it and we learn from it.
Do you think we'll get to that point? With
I
AI
would
and
say
shit and whatnot?
what's that?
With AI and all of these things? Will we get a perfect human being?
I
Who
don't
knows?
think so.
Why not?
Because we all made not perfect and we all have fall apart in some areas.
Okay.
And you would see some professional people and expert in something,
Mm.
but that doesn't mean that they don't make mistakes or they haven't done any mistakes in their life.
Mm.
We all human beings, and the point where we're gonna reach that perfectionist is, I believe, after we die.
Why?
Well, from from my point of view, where I'm coming from, my faith, it's we all know, we all fall apart, we all have done mistakes.
Mm.
So this life is about improving yourself, transforming who you're becoming. And I know for sure from a biblical perspective that you made on the image of God.
Okay.
And God is perfect. So you're gonna live this life of like not being perfect, but it's a process of transforming and shaping the person you are today to more of growth, to more of learning. And you keep on this journey. So it's not like, well, this is the point where I'm perfect now. You want to reach that. And it's very important to realize that, because like it's a point where I have kind of fall into it, where I have break through it, and so many people did. But once I realized it's not about what I'm doing, it's about who I'm becoming, I started seeing things more meaningfully and more has purpose. And once I understood how small I am, and once I understood that, well, I don't have to have it together and I don't have to be perfect, life just not became easier, but stopped carrying that burden upon me, you know, and that pressure upon me to perform well. Because like what the people will gonna tell you, or what the world of you gonna tell you now, the first thing when they meet you, tell me what you do, and it's all about performing. But being like living a spiritual life, it's not about performing, it's about who you're becoming. And the way that I'm reflecting that is not just me having faith and having spiritual life. It's I'm reflecting it in my own life, in the work I'm doing, in my studies, in every single area. So like I have a deeper meaning, and that deeper meaning is driving me to what I'm doing now.
Amen. That's pretty deep.
It is deep, and
It's rare to find people that think like that at such age. Most of the people our age are just probably too busy with things that don't really matter.
well, yes, it's a sad thing, but at the same time, I see that I have reached what I have reached not because of me, but it's because more of my God who's been transforming me first, and also the people. I ask a lot of questions to so many different peoples. I listen to their stories. I learn from their experiences, and through having those conversations with those people, I got to learn that, well, if that person have attempted that mistake or fallen to that thing, I don't have to go through the same mistake, but learn from their mistakes. So,
But also, you can only do that to some extent. Like at
well,
some
yeah,
point,
true, but I still like experience things for myself. I still make mistakes. That doesn't mean I'm not attempting mistakes, but understanding the bigger picture, you
okay,
know?
yeah. But it's good that you don't really let it take out your own experience, or the opportunity for you to experience that same thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Because they're two different things. Hearing it from
Yeah.
one person and doing it yourself, for all you know, this person could have had a bad experience.
I'm doing it to some extent, but not fully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like I still fail, I still do mistakes, but I improve on them. I don't stay there.
Are you an experimental person?
Yes.
Okay. So you like to try before you judge?
Exactly. I don't like. Well, we all judge, but I don't judge until like I have experienced it or seen it or heard it myself.
You don't fully judge? Like you judge partially and then...
Well, yes. As I said, most of us judge. That is, either we judge ourselves or judge others.
Okay.
So the way that I have come to it is, I don't judge based on what people have told me.
Okay.
I don't judge based on like the information that I have got. Because if I tell you something now, you're gonna say it differently to another person. And another person gonna say it differently to another person. So this is how it works. So how am I sure that the information that I have received is authentic until I have tasted it, until I have researched about it, until I have justified it, you know? And the way you do that, it's with every single thing in life. Like, it's either like with your things that your parents got to tell you, your friends what got to tell you, and like what you've been hearing for yourself. You get to taste it and you get to justify it, you know? Because like, if you're gonna lean on others to tell you things, you're not really living an authentic life, in my opinion. Okay. So I don't judge. I do lots of kind of experiencing thing.
Research?
I wouldn't call it research. It's more about experiencing. Like, I don't sit behind the computer or research about that thing. If it's like something like a word that I don't understand, I would just write it on Google and see the definition for it. Okay. But most of the time, since I don't speak English fluently, the definition would mean something else, where the point is that word been using in a different context. So I would have to analyze the context that the person was telling me.
No, English is a very deep language.
It is, and the phrases that we use, and most of the time we don't fully understand the meaning and the definition of those phrases. So here is where I'm kind of being analyzing, because like we just kept using those phrases without understanding the deep definition of them, which is not people's fault. But at the same time, for me, learning it as a third language, I'm getting to learn the full definition of it. So here is where it's kind of clashes happen. So I ask questions when I don't understand something. I don't feel ashamed to ask. So it's about more of experiencing the thing, learning, asking. Okay.
Do you talk to yourself?
What do you mean? Verbally, like out loud?
Sure. We'll go with that for now.
No.
Okay.
But I do, like with writing or to progress think in my mind. So for example, I would be having a conversation in my mind about like a decision that I'm gonna make. Okay. So I would be saying to myself, if I'm gonna take this step, this is one side to it. This is the another side to it. But if not me gonna take that step, this is what not gonna happen to me. and this is where I would be. So
Okay.
it's kind of a conversation of leading me to see and analyze the different parts of the thing that I'm trying to do next.
Okay.
So this is what kind of comes to my mind. And for example, I'm gonna give you an example where I'm having this conversation in my mind. So for example, if I want to join a club or like a group, okay? So I would be saying to myself, if I'm gonna join that group, that means that specific timing and that specific period of my life gonna be fully to that group. And during that, me attending that group, it should be authentic me, not thinking about something else, not attempting to do an assignment, but giving that time to them. But at the same time, if I don't go, that means I'm not socializing. That's mean I'm not asking questions. That's mean there are things that I will be missing about. So, for example, if I'm joining a psych society, which is like a club in my uni,
Yeah.
I would get to talk to students who have done psychology, and they're gonna advise me how to do better. So I would be thinking, well, even though it's gonna cost me my timing, but yeah, it's gonna save my timing at the same time.
Yeah.
So all of this conversation, I would be having it in my mind.
But you have it in first person.
What do you mean?
So the way you're having this conversation, you're talking in first person. So you know how there's first person, second person, third person
Yeah, I know.
in language. So if you're talking second person is he, she, first person,
But how?
me,
Yeah,
I.
obviously it's gonna be first person
Have you
because
tried
I'm
third
talking
person?
third person. What is that?
So you talk to yourself like a separate entity.
Expand more.
So you speak to yourself not in a way where it's I and me, but more you and he or you and she.
Well, that's a little bit confusing.
It is confusing.
Because like, how would I be doing that if I'm having a conversation with myself?
Okay. Think about it like this. You're a wise and logical person, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have moments where you're just irrational and impatient and
I do. Yeah.
dislogical? Okay, so which one are you then? Are you logical and wise, or are you impatient and irrational, or are you both? Or is it that sometimes you're this and the other times you're that? Just like, are you an angry person, or are you a calm person? Or sometimes is it the calm persona, or is it the angry persona? So do you get where I'm coming with this?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about something like that? Because it's really like fascinating the way that once you realize that there's more layers to you than just one, and you start, it's like a big picture type of thing. Like, who are you today? What are you right now? Who are you right now? If you're angry, there's the angry you. If you're calm, there's a calm you. And then when you want to do something and you want to think about it, you collect all the thoughts from all the different yous and see which one's best for all of them.
Isn't it that similar to what I was saying? It's by analyzing and having this conversation in my mind.
Kind of, but you're talking in the me perspective. So you're kind of looking at it from the big picture type of thing. So you're only seeing the big picture. You're not going into the detail.
Well, when I gave you the example, I did give you the big picture.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean I don't go into details. You know what I mean?
So you do.
So
yeah?
I do, yeah.
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 So like you do think about yourself as separate people. Like think about it like this. I'll give you like a silly example. When
You're
I'm
confusing me actually.
I am
Yeah.
confusing you. but
Yeah.
I'll make it easier. When I'm thinking about something, have you ever seen like a meeting? Like when
Yeah.
they sit around the table and whatnot?
Uh-huh.
Think about it like a meeting, but it's all different views, like all versions of views.
Well, yeah, that is what I do with my mind when I'm having a conversation.
Oh, it
it's
is?
me having different me's, having different conversations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because
But I maybe
maybe
reword it differently.
Yeah, the way you phrase it.
Yeah.
But that's really good because not a lot of people think like that. When you describe it to them, they're like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, that's just kind of, it's a little bit strange." But that's how you think.
Exactly.
That's how you
yeah.
critically think.
That's what I was saying at the beginning of this conversation,
Okay.
that I think a lot. And by think a lot, I mean
This is what it
having
means.
me different me and having this conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't do it out loud.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine doing it out loud.
some people do it. I do it sometimes out loud in the car.
Yeah, in the car, but for me, when because like
Yeah, it would be concerning if my dad walked into the room and sees me having a conversation with my laptop.
I know.
Yeah.
And even sometimes when I'm having a phone call and my family don't see the phone, people are like, "Who's she talking?"
I know. The thing is, it's very strange. I haven't yet accepted that people have conversations into the microphones in public. I can't. Like every time I see someone just walking and he's like having a conversation with no phone attached, I'm like, "What? Who are you talking to?" And it doesn't necessarily have to be like someone with a hair. Like it could be the baldest, cleanest guy, and I can clearly see the headphones, and I still don't accept it because this guy's like fully smiling and laughing, and it feels so weird to see.
Yeah.
But I guess this is the time we're moving into now. And at some point, it might get to no headphones whatsoever if the whole chip with Elon works. You laugh now, but we'll see in 10 years what happens.
Well, I'm excited. I was thinking the other day, what's going to happen in 10 years from now? Because, like, the time that my parents were raised, we didn't have this like phones or technology, and now we're exposed to it. You know, so what's gonna happen for our time? Like
we don't
in
know.
10? Exactly, we don't know.
No one knows.
Yeah.
You say 10 years. It's more like 5.
Exactly. Yeah, with this technology that we're living in.
Yeah, it's more like 5.
Is it scary for you?
No. No.
What do you think about it?
It's exciting.
Okay, that's interesting.
The only thing that's scary and realistic that could happen is that we all die, basically. Right? But that's just like part of life. I think I'm excited by mysteries. And so if something I don't know is a mystery, I'm excited for it. I'm a big like science fiction kind of guy. Like I watch science fiction movies and whatnot and sci-fi. And so to see something like that happening in real life right now in our age, I'm like, ooh, we're tapping into these, you know, these zones, these science fiction kind of fantasies. And so for me, like, yes, the scary part is, well, I don't know what the scary part is. Like the scary part when I had a conversation with my friend the other day is people dying, losing their jobs, getting enslaved. Like, I guess, you know, that's
But
bad.
I was thinking about it, that if people losing their jobs, there also going to be more jobs opportunities for new people to like develop those things that we coming with, you know?
Yeah.
So like losing and gaining.
Losing, exactly.
Yeah,
But
so like it's not sad at the same time.
No, that's what's been happening throughout all of history.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just history repeating itself. We had jobs back then that we don't have today. Think about people that used to do horse carting.
Yeah.
Right? There's no horse carting anymore because cars took over. But with when cars took over, new jobs came up like taxis and whatnot and building roads and whatnot. But yeah, it's not totally scary unless we get like a really, really deep science fiction robotic scene where robots are just enslaving people. That's a bit scary. But I don't think we're far away from that.
Yeah, far away from that.
Yeah, but like not far away to the point where like, you know, we might see it. People, me and you, our age, we could see it. People in their 40s, 30s, unlikely. As long as we don't we don't resort to electric cars, that's when I have an issue.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Why?
Because it's too quiet. And if they can figure out a way to mimic the V8 sound engine and they put it there one way or another, I could be okay with it. Apart from that, I like my cars to have noise.
That is very interesting to hear.
It's very anti-nature, I know.
Yeah. You like noises, okay.
It's very, and not all noises. A car noise, a V8 noise. With that being said, I drive a Toyota Camry.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, see a Lamborghini. But if I had the choice, if I want to upgrade my car, I'll probably get like a Mazda or something like really old Mazda, like 70s Mazda. I like vintage cars.
Interesting.
What would you get?
Well, for me, and like the way I view it, I'm not into cars. And I would get a car for public, like just to transfer me from place to another. But if I'm doing a photo shoot with a car, I would get a very old car.
So vintage.
Yeah, so, but for the normal daily basis, I would just get any car to drive me from one point to another. But I do like cars, the old cars, to do photo shoot. Yeah, like photography with it. It's very nice. I like meaningful. I see it. Yeah.
If I ever buy that 1978 Mazda RX-7, I'll lend you for a photo shoot.
Awesome. That's nice. Thanks.
Until then, you enjoy your Swift. Enjoy your Suzuki Swift. Enjoy your Hyundai i30 hatchback. Sorry, that's what everyone drives. right? Every time I see a Hyundai i30 and I look, it's always a woman.
Or Toyota.
An Toyota or a Corolla. Like, it's always the hatchbacks. I've never seen a guy drive a hatchback. He would get slammed in public. We have a friend that drives a hatchback. Yeah, he gets slammed in public for it. Well, that's good. I mean, look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
When are you getting a license?
January.
January, yeah. You excited?
Well, yes, no longer public transport.
Yeah.
At the same time, I was enjoying my public transport, which is weird to hear. So basically, I do sometimes reading into those timing, or just not like people that I don't know would come up to me and have a conversation, which I do enjoy. So once upon a time I had
reading. You said.
No, reading,
Yeah.
one of them. The other one is having a conversation with people.
Yeah, no, because my bad, I heard it weeding. And so I was like, okay.
Reading.
No, you go ahead.
Reading a book.
Yeah, because I just imagine you smoking a blunt on this public transport. I enjoy my public transport. All right, now it makes sense. Yeah.
No. So an old woman came up to me and she just started having a conversation with me. It was like I was waiting for the bus. And I just finished my work in Carlton.
Okay.
And she started sharing her experience with me and like what she has done. And when she knew that I was from Iraq, she started telling me that she used to teach there and started sharing about her story and what she has done. And it was enjoyable time, like rather me being frustrated that the bus is not coming.
Yeah.
It's turned out an enjoyable time that I'm enjoying this conversation with this woman that I don't know or never met and getting to hear her, you know? And I started seeing the privilege of public transport for me that takes lots of timing, but at the same time, I'm using it. I'm not wasting that timing. So I started seeing the other side of traveling by public transport.
Well, Sarah, here's the thing. A lot of people in that situation, they would have gone on their phones.
Ah, okay, I see.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think it's so bizarre that phones take away from our ability to enjoy these small moments.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, I feel like not good if I'm traveling and using my phone.
Yeah.
So either if I'm not reading a book, I would be listening to music and like watching the view from the train, all of those nature and admiring them and appreciate the small things that we got here and we got to see and appreciate. So that is what I would be doing if I'm not reading a book. But a part of me playing up on the phone would be either answering my mom who's asking about me or like answering like a message or something. But even with that, I just leave it till I get home and do all of those like replying backs.
Yeah.
But I feel very sad where I'm looking into the train and everyone using their phones, you know. It's like very sad, but at the same time, this is the timing that we're living in, that technology has taken up a lot. Like as much as we have benefit from technology and as much as we have so many contacts on socials, but yet the face-to-face and the enjoyment of being with somebody else in a friendship or relationship kind of not that much got its depth and it's important, which is very sad to see.
It's very hard to say in the moment.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But if you do it, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah,
it doesn't matter how boring it is. Like all these boring activities like commuting via public transport, waiting in lines, waiting for your food, waiting for someone to come back when you're waiting on them to like go grab something.
Yeah.
If you just stick to that boring moment and not reach to your phone just to get distracted easily, the moments that are full of action, they will make more sense. Because think of it like a movie. An action movie is not the whole time action. If you think about it, it's like 20% action and 80% is just build up.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, right? All the big gun blazing moments, they're like 20-30% of a movie.
Yeah, like Fast and Furious.
Like Fast and Did you watch it?
Yeah, I love it. I love those series.
Well, the last one was good.
Yeah. Well, not really, but I like the previous one. The last one, it was good to some extent, but at the same time, it was kind of not to the level that I expected it. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it because they got to a point where cars are going through buildings right now?
No, to the fact that how random is it to get somebody who died back into the movie? Like, come on,
Okay.
guys.
Yeah, fair enough. Makes sense.
I was like, why? And the weird character that they have included this year, I'm like, was
Which one?
surprised.
You
Well,
say
I-
more?
Which one?
The tall, like long hair
Yeah,
Jason
yeah,
Momoa.
yeah.
Yeah, Jason
Explain it
Momoa.
really bad, actually.
I'm like, it's an action movie that is like not meant to be like that driven, you know?
Yeah, it's never gonna end though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's never gonna end. I think the earlier chapters, like the ones with Paul Walker, they used
Yeah,
to
it
be
was good.
nicer because they used to have actual driving,
Uh-huh.
you know,
yeah.
actual races, because
Yeah.
that's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
But that's very strange for a girl that doesn't like cars. You like Fast and Furious.
Well, a part of me, it was because with my younger brother, he likes cars.
Okay.
And in Jordan, we used to watch Fast and Furious over small phones. So, like, it was a very, like, a good... I love action movies.
Okay.
So, Fast and Furious was not about cars for me. It was about family.
Oh, hey,
And apart from that, it was the action, like when they were stealing the bank.
Okay.
Like, did you imagine all of this action with the helicopters? It was so amazing. And I was like, the whole movie, you know how noisy it gets?
Mm,
And I was getting noisy as well with
Mm.
it. So I do enjoy it with my younger brother. So that's why I kept, like, interested in that movie.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm definitely clipping this sentence to Vin Diesel after this.
But it
Okay.
is good series that I've been
Well,
enjoying.
If you like action that much, boy, do I have good movies. Have you ever heard of Guy Ritchie?
No.
Okay. Are you big on directors?
Oh, no, not into directors. I'm
Okay.
more into the titles.
You're
of
more into the
movie.
titles.
Like the other movies or series that I've been enjoying is there is many.
Mm.
So one of them is The Avengers, if you have heard
The
of it.
Avengers.
Yeah, it's so good. The other one
Like
is
Marvel.
No, it's not. It's just like a three set of movies that is connected. It's more about action.
Okay.
It's good. The other one is 911. It's an American show
Yeah, yeah.
series.
Mm.
I love that. It's like kind of real life. I love like movies that is based on real life at the same time action.
Okay. Have you seen 24?
I think so.
It's really old. If you live back there, it used to premiere on NBC Action.
Mm.
You see,
Yeah.
if you remember, it was that whole ticking noise. Dun, dun, dun. The whole plot of the movie was like they would set up a bomb somewhere and they'd have to like go fix it or something like that.
Nice.
It's really good. It's really
I'm
good.
not
It's really
sure.
old.
It's like
I'll show you later.
Yeah.
I'll show you the whole thing later. But after this, I'll give you a list of Guy Ritchie movies. Do you know Jason Statham?
no.
The bald guy?
British.
Yeah. No, he's like the chauffeur in like the movies. He's always driving a car.
Maybe if I see.
Maybe if you see him.
Yeah.
I'll show you. It's really good movies. It's really
That's
good.
good.
Yeah, it's
I have
really
a good list now.
Yes, but it's more. I don't know. I think it's more like for guys. They're more directed at guys.
Oh, I see.
But with that being said, it's Jason Statham. The girls love him. They watch it anyway, right?
Mm.
I'll give you the whole thing afterwards.
Yeah. The other thing I love the genre of like war and soldiers.
Okay.
I was thinking to become a psychiatrist for armies.
Ooh.
So it was for a point of time I was really interested in that theme.
Mm.
And there is like a series called SAS Australia, which is like a
Yes.
special course selective for Australian Army,
Mm.
where it's all about training, action, and persevering, determination,
That'd be
resilience.
so hard,
So it was so hard, but at the
Mm.
same time, it wasn't really about the physical like mentality, like the physical perspective. It was more about the mentality of those people joining the army.
though.
So those kind of movies teach me a lot of like things.
Okay.
And some of the movie that is based on real life stories and action at the same time.
Yeah.
Very amazing. This is what I more kind of enjoy.
Mm.
I really connect with non-fiction, like
Mm.
real stories.
Non-fiction is
yeah.
alright too. It's really cool.
Well, yeah, true. Like Fast and Furious.
I don't know about that right now. They're really tapping into the sci-fi ends of it. I wouldn't be surprised if they're racing in the space or something at that point.
Yeah,
They did include
They have, yeah,
that.
they did.
Exactly.
Jesus, they already did. There you go. Right. So, is it really non-fiction at this point? It's crazy. I wanted to ask you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the question that's been on my mind ever since I saw you, ever since I saw your photos, ever since I saw your work.
Nice. Okay.
All right, it's a big question for me.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Let me just get my mic like that. Is your hair naturally like that?
Yes.
Is it?
Like, do you mean the color or like the curls?
No, the color.
No, the color I used to have it dark ash blonde,
Okay.
but I dye it 2 years ago.
So is that your hair for the past 2 years? That's
Kind
how
of.
it-
This is the genre that I've been having for the last 2 years.
Wait, so do you like dye this part and leave this part out, or do you dye this
Well,
part?
no, it has grown up, so that's why.
Oh, so your hair
Yeah.
is, this is the natural color,
Kind of, but
but this is like
yeah,
the
yeah,
dye.
yeah.
Dude, it looks so cool.
Well, when I was younger, this was the color, but
Okay.
since I cut it, it started getting brown.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't really brown. It was dark ash blonde, which is like kind of blonde, but not blonde.
You're gonna have to like be
I'm
very.
gonna show you some
you
of the pictures
you're
before
gonna
I
have to.
dye it.
I'm also like
Yeah,
colorblind, so.
Yeah. More than that.
So dark ash blonde, blonde, the kind of sounds the same thing. Red, green, similar colors.
Yeah, but the curls are natural,
Okay.
which I feel like
Natural,
I've been
verified.
loving it. Like I used to love a straight hair,
Okay.
but after a while I realized that the curls suits me more, and I stopped straightening my hair for the last 3 years. So I haven't straightened it in the last 3 years.
Power move. Good on you, man. Well, that was like the most, it pops out like in all the photos. Every
Yeah.
time I see you in a photo, I'm like, geez, the hair. All right. Well, it's really cool.
Yeah,
Good
I
job,
love the
man.
color that is now on.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of, I feel like it suits my personality. While I felt the brown one was more giving me an older person. This is what I felt. But most people were telling me that Sarah, so it's debate. Some people say is like Sarah, the old one is good, the natural one, and some people tells me like keep that one. So
Okay.
I'm like, well, I'm gonna keep my choices, which I love that one. I'm gonna keep it, but I'm gonna dye it soon, dark ash blonde.
Like the whole thing.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
because
no.
like I don't like now it's growing and having two colors. So
It looks good. What do you mean?
my mom was telling me it looks so good.
Yes.
So,
It's got so much character. Like 'cause you don't
Yeah.
see that much often. Because
Yeah.
usually people just paint the whole thing.
Hmm.
And now it's growing back. It looks really nice.
But I don't want to damage it at the same time. So
Ah,
that's
okay.
why I dye it like kind of twice, I would say.
A year.
Yeah. Once a year, but
Oh.
I'm not gonna continue doing that because every time I do it, it's kind of like losing the curls, and I don't want to do that,
Okay.
like damaging like the structure that I have now.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna dye my hair either. I used to
Did
like.
you have it?
Huh?
Did you ever have it dyed?
No. I
Are you
don't-
thinking?
I don't think I'm the kind of person. Do I look like a person who would dye his hair?
Yeah.
Do I? What?
I was thinking, yeah, you would be cool with the blonde.
No.
Or silver.
Oh. I had the idea of silver,
Yeah.
but no. If I dye my hair, it has to be like really short, like number one,
Well, yeah,
like
try
that
it.
short.
Well, don't try it.
Damn, brother just got violated for no reason. But yeah,
I don't mean that, but like, what's
Oh,
the
yeah,
point
yeah.
of dyeing it if it's short like that?
not that short.
You just said like that.
Like that short, but like not faded. So you'd have like a big helmet of hair, but you dye the whole thing. I wouldn't do it. Like black hair is okay. I've had it for 22 years. I'm gonna continue to have it for
Good.
10 more until
Yeah.
all of it falls off. I don't think it will fall off, but if it starts falling off, that's when I just grab the razor, I just take the whole thing out.
Good
Are you-
thinking.
No, I
Or
would
you
never
could
do
wear
a
a
transplant.
What do you call it? Wing?
A wig?
Yeah, a wig.
That
yeah.
never works. That never works.
Turkey. Just one trip to Turkey and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would you do that?
What's ahead?
Nah. At that point, you already secured a wife, you have kids. The last thing you worry about getting your hair back, honestly. Because why do people get their hairs back?
I
What?
don't know. Because they're single.
Transplants.
Is
See?
it?
Yeah, You think so? Like most of the guys
but
I know.
after getting married, you don't care how your wife gonna see you.
Nah, you just give it up. That's it.
She accept you anymore.
You
That's
cry.
what it is. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like, you know, there's no point. All the masking falls off. Yeah, you already crossed the line. What's she gonna do? Divorce you? Too late. You have like 3 kids already. No, but I think you gotta take care of yourself. A lot of people let loose after marriage. That's just not how it works.
It's
is
more
it?
of a genetic thing that
Yeah.
if you have somebody in the family, that's more likely your hair gonna fall off.
Oh no, not
It's
just
more
the
of
hair.
genetic like thing.
Is it?
Yes, the hair.
But from the mom's family, not the dad.
How do you know?
Because I studied science.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more from the mom side, and it's not that big of a factor. So, like, say, it affects you by like 40%. The other 60% is
Is it about the product that you use as well?
product,
Yeah.
stress. So most of
Yeah,
the people that have been
stress.
through
Yeah.
stress and lost hair, it makes sense because the follicle becomes really weak, and your diet.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a bunch of things.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like my whole that side is bald, but I'm not gonna get bald. My mom's side, they're ish, you know, kind of one guy has hair. I don't know. We'll see. I'm probably not gonna go bald. Unlikely because
We'll
I
wait.
have really thick hair. If you
Yeah.
have thick hair, it's less likely you're gonna go bald.
Yeah.
That's usually for guys. For girls, I don't know. That's very risky what you did right there. But yeah. But the thing is, like, what I meant by guys letting loose, when they get married, for both sides, women and men, they don't hold themselves to the same standard they did before getting married.
Which is, what do you think of that?
It's sad.
It is sad because, like, what's the point? You're just trying to impress people, get married, and that's it.
Exactly.
Like you're doing it just to, like, get the attention, and that's it. Well,
It's
that's
like
sad.
finish
Yeah.
line. It's like a finish line. That's it. I got married. That's it. I don't have to care for how I look, how I treat my wife or husband.
But it's more about the health diet as well. Like, even if you get married, that doesn't mean you're not gonna take care of yourself. Like, I take care of my look because I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about me. I'm taking care of myself to impress others, you know? Because if you're working with this mentality, at a certain point, when you get what you want, you're going to end up like being a whole different person, which brings depression sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is sad.
And surprise. That's why a lot of people, they talk about how, oh, we're different after marriage. That's kind of your fault. You're not supposed to be different after marriage. You're supposed to be before and after the same thing. Different dynamic, of course, but not different people. You're the same people, right? And if you started as friends, it's even better because like now you're friends who are basically in coordination with the other. So it makes more sense. It's kind of sad, but you see it all the time. You wanted to add something? You look like you wanted to add something.
Yeah, because in my perspective, when I train in the gym, train hard, and I see some guys with them, all right, after marriage you're gonna lose all of that. I'm like, what is the wife gonna do to me? Is she gonna stop me from training in the gym, look after my food and my health?
No, because they think about it as you're doing maintenance right now to impress someone. But the reality of it is even throughout marriage, the whole process is just maintenance.
Yeah.
And you're
maintaining the relationship and maintaining yourself as well. Because
100%.
like by the end of the day, you're also a human being that needs to be taken care of. And the wife cannot give you the everything that you need. You have to take responsibility for yourself as well.
Yeah.
Because like some people get into marriage to get their identity, to get their value, to get their needs. But marriage is not about that. You know what I mean? So marriage is far more valuable than being for that purpose, which is pointless purpose.
Yeah.
If it's marriage for that, well, I don't want to get married.
Yeah. If anything, it's a holy construct and you're kind of ruining and disrespecting it if you go into it with that mentality.
And also, like, if you start having kids and your kids seeing you like that, they're gonna start having bad habits themselves as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just you impacting yourself, you're impacting the environment that you're living in and your family. And why?
Yeah.
Just because you try to impress somebody and that's it?
100%.
Yeah.
But man, I think I've talked enough. I've asked all my questions. And so I think this is a very good time for us to wrap it up. Before we do that, though.
Obviously, we don't do it formally. I know.
We don't do you want to close it out? You started it out.
Well, I do it formally, but it's your show. We don't do it informal.
You got a camera.
We do it informal, so
You got a microphone and a camera,
okay, that's good.
and yeah, you can speak and say whatever you want. Do you want me to time you, or do you want to just?
No, thank you. I don't want timing because I don't stick to it when I speak.
Okay.
But what was in your mind to wrap up with?
Me?
Yeah, yes, you.
I usually do my things. I look at the camera right there. I tell the people thank you for listening.
Uh-huh.
I tell Spectrum thank you for providing the space.
That's amazing.
I tell Sam thank you for linking me to Spectrum.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's a couple of thank
Okay,
you
cool.
here and there, but it's mainly about the people listening.
Okay.
But now you're in the driving seat.
Okay, that's good.
You got the camera
love
and the
it.
mic.
Okay, cool, awesome. Dear Solif audience,
Oh, there
we
you
we thank you for listening to this interesting episode where we discussed different topics and different kind of areas and shared or a little bit from personal life. Thanks for listening, and we also do thank those people who has provided the place and has provided the opportunity for us to be here today. And I thank you for starting this project. It's such an amazing podcast that is started with something and gonna end up growing and growing till you reach your vision, which I believe you're gonna do.
Thank you.
So I have hoped that you may enjoy this, and I'm sure you did. Thank you.
Thank you. 6 out of 10. You didn't look much at the camera. Well, that was decent. That was good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we'll use it. We'll keep it.
You have to tell me when we formally finish.
Formally finish? Formally finish is when I stand up.
Okay, good. Because we started and I didn't know that we actually started. And then now, are we finished?
Are we finished? Are we finished? I don't know. We're not really finished. All right, guys. Well, I'll finish it now. It now. Thank you guys for listening. That was a great hour. Sarah Hanoona. Very nice name, by the way.
I know, right?
Because like Hanoona, it means
Hanoona means like the mother of passion and
Yes.
who has lots of like careness for others.
Yeah.
And Sarah's means passion, happiness, and like pleasure. So
It makes
doesn't it
so much sense.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. Thank you guys for listening. And I think we're out. Deuces. Goodbye.